a couple of days. Trump MAGA related material. Sometimes the censors can be a bit banning. So we try to get it to you as soon as possible. Nevertheless, what up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Today we're going to talk about exactly what you see on the monitor behind yours truly. Switching to Trump due to Biden's health. That's what we're going to be talking about because there's a hell of a lot of voters, a lot of constituents that are stating that Biden's health is so poor. Why the hell would any voting American worth his salt vote for Biden when you see Biden on television occasionally making stumbles in terms of physically falling down? He's fell down numerous times on camera, fell off his bike, fell up the stairs to Air Force One. I don't know how you can fall upstairs, but Biden accomplished that. Fell on stage, stumbled over a host of words, offered to shake hands with people he has either already shook hands with or did not exist. So we're going to be asking a question. Does it make sense to look at Biden's health, suggest that maybe he is failing in his latter years, and switch your vote to President Trump? Now, President Trump is only 4 years younger than Biden, but on its face, he does come across as a lot more alert and I won't say healthy, but certainly more within his faculties. But we're asking a question. Does it make sense? Would that lead you, if Biden was the candidate of your choice, whether you're on the right side of the aisle or the left side of the aisle, if your candidate of choice had what appears to be Biden's failing health, which some would say, would that lead you to go to the other side? That is a question we're asking because we get a hell of a lot of folks that will suggest, how could you vote for a guy that barely knows where he's at, or he can't string together a sentence, or he looks like he's in a state of maybe an advanced case of dementia? So I'm asking that question. If your candidate of choice, whether you're liberal, Democrat, or a Republican, maybe an independent, if your candidate of choice was in the same health state as Biden, would that potentially lead you to voting for the other side? That's what we're going to be asking. I don't know what happened to my monitor here, but I want to get you guys, we'll take a look at what's going on in the box the moment I can figure out what the hell happened over here. But looking at the comments, Trump is overweight and eats McDonald's every day. Biden regularly exercises. Trump does not. Well, according to Fulton County, Trump is 6'3", 215 pounds. Trump sounds to be pretty damn healthy if you believe those specs. 6'3", 215 pounds. Looking at the comments, by the way, tap the screen, get the program on the move. 300 plus of you in here. The program is, always will be MAGA friendly. Liberals are welcome as well. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Nobody believes that, says Crystal. Yeah, I don't think many folks believe that Trump is 215 pounds either. War cry. I know he's not 215, but that is what has come out of Fulton County. Trump let all his friends that had his back fall. Wow. That says a lot because no matter how many close associates of President Trump end up facing the music, so to speak, or end up incarcerated, there seems to be an endless stream of new folks willing to step up and hold Trump down. So if you're suggesting that Trump let all his friends down and that should lead folks to behave differently around him, that does not seem to work. Vivek Ramaswamy is now definitely in the MAGA camp. But that's what we're going to be asking. I'll go straight to the box. We're talking about switching to President Trump. Does Biden's health, not knowing where he is, some folks would suggest, perhaps maybe being in the early stages of dementia, some folks would suggest, does Biden's health lead you to potentially consider switching candidates, switching over to Trump? If it comes down to Biden versus Trump, and you feel like Biden is not completely there, would that lead you to vote for Trump? Going straight to the box, Mr. Krabs. Good afternoon, Krabs. How are you? So, can you hear me? It's perfect. So let me first start out by asking, do you lean left or right?
I'm conservative.
You are conservative. Okay. So what about you? Let's say, for instance, Trump was in the same mental health state as President Biden, but Biden was in the same mental health state as Trump. Would that lead you to potentially consider switching?
Yeah, I'm not all for the dementia leader. That's why I really think they're gonna. You see a lot of the support for Biden, even draining on these super like a CNN. You see people like Jake Tapper going after Biden now, which they would have never ever done 3-4 months ago. Guys like regime approved sources like the Washington Post, all these places, they seem to be a lot. They go after Biden for a lot more than what they've used to come.
But okay, fair enough. You are correct. There's a hell of a lot of liberals that go after Biden. But do you see those liberals, like you mentioned Jake Tapper on CNN, do you see them going after Biden to the point where they're possibly willing to actually vote for Trump?
Well, not that. What I think they're doing is they're seeding the road here for a nice dark horse candidate for whoever's playing Michelle Obama, the guy playing that. I think they're going to put him up.
Speaking of Michelle Obama, do you think she could beat Trump if she went up against him?
Well, I mean, considering what happened in the last election, I think anyone could beat whoever's controlling those machines is going to win the election.
Well, when you say considering what happened in the last election in controlling the machines, how did all this happen with Trump being in control of the country and telling us before he got elected that the elections were fixed? I mean, after he told us when he came down the escalator in 2015 that it was all rigged, and then after the end of him serving 4 years in office, it sounds like he did nothing to correct the rigging. How did that happen?
Yeah, that would be a huge mistake in my view. Like if you going in there understanding that the whole thing is rigged, and then by some chance you get in there and you win in 2016. I would have liked to seen him reform the whole thing, make the source code public, because, you see this all over the world now with, like, Bolsonaro in Brazil, and Hillary Clinton's been claiming it's rigged, Stacey Abrams, so there seems to be distrust, like, all over the globe.
Yeah, but when you look at Stacey Abrams, or when you look at Hillary Clinton, or even Al Gore for that matter, when they suggested the election was rigged, it was after they lost and they believed that it was taken from them. Trump said the election was rigged before he ever got elected. So in other words, he said the election was rigged, won the election, and then had 4 years of time to potentially fix it, which is totally different than Al Gore, Stacey Abrams, or Hillary Clinton. None of them actually got elected. Trump got elected after telling us it was rigged. Do you see where Trump may have dropped the ball on this?
100%, I would agree with that. He should have went in there and completely reformed the whole way things happened, because, it completely bit him in the butt in 2020 because they went and just changed the rules a few weeks before it even happened.
Yeah,
he should have went in there and made it like a federal standard or whatever.
Yeah.
It would have allowed him to do. I'm not a constitutional lawyer, so I don't know what power he has to change elections, but I'd imagine there's something.
Yeah. Well, and you and I would both agree that he didn't do, it doesn't appear as if he did anything to secure the integrity of the election. I don't even remember hearing, once Trump won the presidency for the first 2 or 3 years of his presidency, he was still going on rallies all the time. I don't even remember him talking about making any suggestion at all to fix the election.
Yeah, so this guy makes a good point in the comments. Voting rules are because state to state. The state government decides how the elections are going to take place. That was the big scandal with the Pennsylvania legislator. Like, instead of it going through the courts or whatever, like the senior attorney general, whatever, just like changed the rules. And that was the big. It seems like a lot of the power's in the wrong hands. Like, if you can just have like people.
Yeah, but look what happened. Even though you're correct, voting is state to state. Trump took a hell of a lot of states to court after he lost. Why didn't he do that once he became president? If you think the states are using flawed ways of handling the votes, he could have done that as president. Still, he took him to court after he lost. He could have took him to court during his term.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's a little bit of ego inflation with I just won, I'll win again. Like, I mean, after you win, why do you think you need to reform it?
Well, if it's flawed and you win and you suggest, well, since I win, I don't need to reform it, then that means you don't mind the system being flawed just as long as it's flawed in your favor.
Well, I don't think it was ever flawed in its favor. I think it was just able to win.
Well, let me give you a perfect example. I've brought this up before. Right before the November vote in 2020, Trump and his administration were alleging there was fraud taking place in North Carolina because Biden was looking like he was going to win that state. Trump was suggesting strongly that a lot of fraud was happening in North Carolina. And then he ended up winning North Carolina by a small margin. And since he has won North Carolina, we have not heard one claim from the Trump camp that fraud took place in that state. So once again, if you're pointing out fraud somewhere and then you win, why do the claims of fraud go away?
Well, yeah, now, for me, I would like to see improved fraud in North Carolina, Arizona, Michigan. I'd like to see all of it. I mean, I'm more interested in Arizona, Michigan, states like that.
Yeah, but are you interested in potential fraud in any state that Trump won?
I'm interested in fraud in any state.
Give me a state. Give me a state that you're interested in. You would like for the Trump camp to investigate fraud in that Trump won. Just give me one.
Oh, that they won?
Yeah.
North Carolina. I want to see New Jersey. I want to see all the states. I want to see any state that could have possibly had the votes flipped.
Yeah. And I tend to agree with you that if President Trump, because I believe there was fraud in the election. I don't believe you're going to get 50 million plus people to vote and 100% of that is honest. I do believe that fraud took place. However, I do see the way Trump managed it. And Trump managed it in a manner of, I want to find fraud that went against my victory. If it was fraud in favor of me, I'm not interested in it. I only want to find fraud that was detrimental to my campaign, which I believe once you do it that way, you hurt your credibility because now it comes across as if you're not interested in making sure the election is honest. You're just focused on winning.
Yeah, I think he's just implying that most or 99% of the large-based fraud is just not for him. Like, it was just working.
How do you know? But how do you know that?
Based off of certain reports and things that we've seen. I mean,
give me an example. What reports have you seen that suggest that 99% of the fraud is against Trump?
So you had the super famous one from, I believe, Michigan with the tabulators where they were tabulating the votes, and I think it was like 99% of the dump of it was like over 10,000 votes at least went to Biden, and that's where they have the memes where it's like Trump was winning, and it happened at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
That's probably gonna be banned. But like, I don't know if you've seen the chart where it's like Biden and Trump, they were warring, dueling up, and then there was just a massive spike. Like, it was like a Bitcoin chart for Biden where it just went vertical and he overtook Trump. And that's where I was like,
so, and I've heard that. I've certainly heard other folks say the same thing. But let me ask you this. Would Attorney General Barr being the guy who would be responsible for leading investigations to look into this stuff, any idea why his own Attorney General came back and said that most of those claims, not most, but all of them, were unfounded? His own Attorney General looked into some of the claims like the voting machines and like Ruby Freeman. And Attorney General Barr came back after looking into those claims and saying that this stuff was not valid. Why would Barr do that?
For sure. Well, Barr, I would not put too much trust in the guy who said Jeffrey Epstein is a foreign asset. I can't touch him. He works for the intelligence community. I'm not allowed to go after him. His words, not mine.
So why would Trump appoint someone to one of the highest positions in the country that even you as a voter does not put much trust into the guy? So we'd have to ask the question, if you view Barr as lacking credibility and somebody you would not even listen to, then Trump dropped the ball in appointing a flawed attorney general.
Well, I think the pool that Trump had to pick from, in my view, probably all those people were compromised. They probably give Trump a list, and here's all the people that we think are good. Odds are everyone on that list is compromised, is going to play by the rules. That the regime.
But
I don't think that Trump has
but since when has Trump followed a list? I mean, if the list sucks, then go get some new people. Didn't he think about all of this stuff before running for office that I may need to go outside the box?
Well, that was the biggest criticism you see from the conservative side on Trump was the people that were put around him. That's no secret. That's the biggest criticism of the guy. But the problem with that, if that is a criticism, it's 100 times more true for every other candidate.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
1,000 times more true. Biden to be 1,000 times more true. So that's what we got. Like, obviously, I'd like to go in there and pick the people. You know, I can't do that.
So let me ask you this then: when Trump tried to help Dr. Oz become senator in Pennsylvania and Herschel Walker, who many suggest also are flawed candidates, do you think he was trying to make those appointments from some list that was given to him as well?
Well, candidates are a different thing. I think it's just when you
Those are senators. Wait a minute. You're saying I mean, that's a senator. That's a sitting senator he was trying to make happen.
Well, we were trying to beat he didn't endorse them until it got to the primaries, right? So it was just one versus the other.
No, I mean, but do you think that was a good endorsement?
Well, yeah, I think you should always try to get your Senate and Congress to be Republican so you can have the votes, even if the guy in there, you don't 100% align with. I wouldn't say you should hand the seat to a Democrat because you don't align 100% with the guy.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, listen, I do got to move it on, Mr. Krabs. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. Come on back anytime, man. All right. Now, looking in the comments, by the way, as you see on the monitor, we're talking about the notion that it's time to switch to Trump due to Biden's health. I'm asking a question. If your candidate of choice, whether you lean left, lean right, or independent, if your candidate of choice had the same visual health issues that many say are facing Biden, would that lead you to switch to the other side? For all of my beloved MAGA, let's suggest that Trump had the mental capacity of Biden and Biden had the mental capacity of Trump. Would that lead you to potentially switch from Trump to Biden due to Trump's health issues? That's what we're asking, because a hell of a lot of folks are asking us voters, why would you vote for Biden considering that he looks like he has dementia, doesn't know where he's at, cannot string together two sentences, cannot read without a teleprompter? Asking MAGA, if Trump was this exact same way and Biden was completely alert, would you consider switching to Biden? Looking in the comments before we move on, I mean, Biden did say to re-elect Trump. Did Biden actually say that? My choice would never behave mentally like Biden. If they did, they wouldn't be my choice as regular life. Yeah, but what if you only have a choice between those two candidates? What would you do then? Going to the box. We'll keep it moving with Kane's backup. Good afternoon, Rainy Kane in the house. So we're asking that question. Is Biden's mental health state enough to consider switching to a different candidate? Good afternoon, Kane.
A different candidate named Donald Trump?
Yes.
No, Donald Trump is far worse mentally disturbed. He's a psychopath. What are you talking about?
You said no.
Don't you watch this Tucker Carlson interview? I know you did, so I shouldn't even ask the question. So you mean to tell me you watched that interview and you thought that man was all sound? Come on, Tim.
I think let me say it this way. I believe Trump believes what he believes, and there is nothing going to sway him from what he believes.
I'm not talking about him believing something. Did you listen to him string on, get confused, never answer the question, go off topic, ramble on? But
Randy, come on, you know what the rebuttal is going to be to that. It's politics. All politicians try to dodge questions and ramble on. They all do that. That's what they're going to tell you.
Okay, well then that's what Joe Biden's doing.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what Joe Biden's doing. If we can get our shit to Trump, then that's what Joe Biden's doing, all right?
Okay. So no, but there's no chance at all that Biden's alleged health issues would lead you to
I
reconsider.
think Joe Biden is old as fucking dirt, and he's got one foot hanging out of the grave. I acknowledge that. But to suggest I would change my vote to Trump would be utterly absurd. Now, if the Republicans was running Condoleezza Rice, I would vote Republican. Straight up.
But let's take, okay, now that you pointed to the notion that you might be willing to consider what some would say a more moderate Republican, what about Tim Scott? What if they were running Tim Scott?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm sticking with Joe Biden. And again, I've already told you how I feel, so I'm probably a more jaded person to ask. I literally will vote for Joe Biden on a stretcher. I would vote for him in a wheelchair. I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't even care at this point over any of the Republicans that were on the stage. But I wanted to speak to the last caller who was talking about the fraud and all those things. It's interesting, like you asked the question, name a state where, you know, that you would challenge, and he mentioned North Carolina and some other state. That state Joe Biden won. He could not name a state that Trump actually won. And like, I know I heard Trump say he thinks he won California. It's like, come on, man, come on.
Oh, did he really say he thought he won California?
Yes. But anyway, Trump got 100% of the dead vote. And the amount of fraud that we're talking about wasn't on the Democrat side. Everybody that went to jail for fraud in this election were Republicans voting with their dead.
Well, they believe that the only reason why it was only been Republicans getting in trouble is because they believe the system is tailored to benefit Democrats.
That's what the absurdity is. They don't want to acknowledge, well, you guys are just criminals. Nobody else, the Democrats aren't going to jail for Joe Biden. I'm sorry, there's no way you can convince me that we would willingly sign up to go to jail for Joe Biden. Like the Ruby Freeman woman and all those people, the election workers that he, accused of stealing the election. Like, you really think that old lady was going to go her whole life and go to jail for Joe Biden? Yeah. This is so absurd. The stuff doesn't make any logical sense.
Yeah, that part I do not. I'm with you. I don't think it makes a lot of sense either that somebody would come to this country illegally, for instance. That they're trying to stay under the radar, and they would be so eager to get involved in American politics that they would risk their entire life facing deportation and show up to vote. I just have a hard time believing that. But I want you to tackle this. This is on the YouTube side. Someone said, this is why our economy is how it is right now. People would rather see the country sink than vote for President Trump. Do you see yourself in that light, or other Democrats in that light, that they would rather see this country disintegrate as opposed to voting for Trump? Is he really that much of a deal breaker?
If I thought the country was disintegrating, that'd be one thing. My country's being dug out of an economic collapse that Trump left. I mean, I can see if Joe Biden walked into office and the country was in prime, perfect example of shit. Like when Obama left office and Trump came into office, the country was doing great. Biden walked in, the country was destroyed because of COVID and the shit that was going on in the failures of the Donald Trump presidency. Biden did not walk in here in some perfect shape here. I think that's where we all need to live in reality. This is called digging us out of. It took Obama 4 years to dig out of the George Bush recession. 4 years.
So then I have to ask
Biden 2 years.
So then I have to ask the obvious question. If Trump has performed as poorly as you're suggesting, why does he have so many fans, even among African Americans? His numbers are better than most other Republican presidential candidates of our lifetime. Bush's, Romney's, McCain's. Trump is even doing better with African Americans. If he's doing as bad as you're saying, how is that?
Now, let's take it into reality here. You mean African American men. Women, we are educated. We don't vote for idiots. And Donald Trump is an idiot. Okay? The black men in this country is lost their faith. They ain't been reliable anyway. So
but wait a minute, Rainey. You're talking.
No offense this to you.
Yes.
Say it.
Yes. Wait a minute, though. I am an African American male. You do realize that's a sexist comment.
About you. I'm saying.
Girl.
Some of these people are first-time voters, never voted before. Donald Trump is like the Scarface, just like he was before he was president. I'm talking Scarface, the movie, the coke drug dealer from Miami. That's what he is.
Well, you know coke, but you do realize cocaine was actually found in the Biden White House.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Okay, so you started talking about cocaine. The fact Hunter Biden, you're literally begging for Hunter Biden to come into the conversation.
Like I said, I wish it was Joe Biden's. I wish he could be that fucking cool where it was actually Joe Biden's coke. And then none of y'all would be talking about Sleepy Joe. Because he'd be
Yeah, cocaine does tend to wake you up.
I love you, Tim. I hope you have a good Sunday, brother.
You just made that happen. Good talk. Talk to you later. Oh my God. All right, looking in the comments, Biden for prison says, Pooh Nanny. Oh my God. Pooh Nanny. I love the name, love the product, but Biden for prison. At this point in time, there is nowhere near enough evidence on, if you think that Trump is being railroaded, at least you do have dozens of Republicans, even ones that Trump appointed personally, even judges suggesting that Trump actually is guilty of something. Biden for prison right now in 2023, there's just nowhere near enough evidence. It sounds very similar to lock her up in reference to Hillary Clinton. I'm not saying Biden is an innocent guy. If there's something there, you have to pursue it, hold him in a court of law, present your evidence. But right now, there's not enough evidence to suggest Biden should go to prison. The economy is bad worldwide. If we were allowed to be energy independent, we'd be fine. Would energy alone solve all the problems? I don't know, because I'm going to submit to you this. Certainly in the Biden economy, and I'll go right back to the box shortly. I won't blow V8 for too long, but in regards to the price of fuel right now, there is no denying that under the Biden administration, they are forcibly, and I put emphasis on forcibly, producing more vehicles that use alternative energy, i.e. electric vehicles. So with this happening, with them promoting solar panels and wind energy, far more than any Republican administration, there's no way to deny that the demand in this country for fuel, fossil fuels, has had to drop. There's more electric vehicles on the road now, thanks to Biden, and more solar panels on roofs, thanks to Obama, than any point in our history. So with the reduction in demand for fossil fuels, why has the price went up? Now, I'm going to agree that the price of gas under the Biden administration is far worse than it was under Trump. I like the phrase, get Trump, get $2 gas. I do believe there's something to discuss there. However, there's supposed to be a theory in regards to supply and demand. If the demand for fossil fuels has dropped under the Biden administration, the cost should not be going up. The point I'm trying to make, while not absolving Biden at all, because I believe what happens under your watch is your responsibility, fact is you're paying more for fuel because the OPEC nations are price gouging. The folks who sell you fuel are artificially increasing the price. It doesn't have anything to do with Biden. But, well, let me take that back. It does, because Biden has made it clear he's trying to get us away from fossil fuels. So they're gouging to squeeze the last dollars out of you because they know their days are numbered. That doesn't mean that Biden is the reason fuel is going up. It means that they're taking revenge because he's about to shut down their gravy train. But the demand for fossil fuels has went down under the Biden administration. The price should be going down, not up. So understand that that's not due to Biden, that's due to price gouging. But Biden is president. And as I always say, what happens under your watch, you get blamed for it. I don't believe in blaming somebody else when you're the commander in chief. Just like you see with my first caller, I'm pointing to people that Trump appointed, and he's saying, well, somebody gave him a list, and this is all the only choices he had. If you are president and you're making bad appointments to the point where you're saying the guy I appointed is a rhino, or the guy I personally appointed is a traitor to this country, how the hell are you not responsible for that? That's all I'm saying. If Biden is responsible for gas prices, how the hell is Trump not responsible for giving people jobs that he admit were bad for the country? Going back to the box. Appreciate you folks. Tap the screen. Get your boy up to 20,000 likes. 800 plus of you in here this Sunday afternoon. Always an honor. You could be any damn where you want, so I'm glad to have you here with yours truly. Game Star Barbie. Now that's a mouthful. Good afternoon. Blackmailing foreign presidents. I don't get what you're saying there, Aunt Belcher. I don't know if it let my caller in. We'll give it a second. What Trump healthcare? Yeah, Trump was supposed to repeal and replace Obamacare. That obviously didn't happen, thanks to John McCain. Pausing new oil and gas leases on federal lands, water in his first week in office. But that still doesn't explain away the price gouging. It just doesn't. My last caller apparently did not go through, so we'll continue. We'll keep it moving. I don't know what happened there, but let's keep it going. Jenny M. Good afternoon. Jenny M. Did I see what hang on a second, Jenny. Did I see what I thought I see? Trans for Trump. Trans for Trump. Jay Rice says Trans for Trump's got the transgender flag. Vider, Texas chapter. Obviously, Vider, Texas has its name known for being a sundown town, which would mean that they're not very friendly to, say, African Americans. So obviously that is a satire post. Jenny, good afternoon.
Hi, good evening. I'm sorry, man. I'm calling from South Africa here in Pretoria. I'm all the way from South Africa.
Okay.
Just from an outsider, I just would love to say some words. I felt that the last election that Biden won, it was not fair.
Wait. Let me hang on. Hold on a second. Now I'm going to apologize. Your accent, I got to get you to slow down because your accent is a little tricky with me. But you're saying the last election, Biden did not win?
You didn't win. I watched your election. I stayed, didn't sleep at night. I watched elections, and then how you guys conduct election, it's very surprising.
How could you tell this? How could you tell that Biden did not win by watching it on TV? You do understand a hell of a lot of votes were cast that never were done in front of a camera, right?
Okay, I understand it. Can I just explain something for me? Wow.
Sure.
Maybe I don't understand how you guys conduct your elections. But here in South Africa, when you do the elections, they give you maybe 2 days or 3 days to do elections. But you have to be going in person to go and cast your votes.
Okay.
So I don't understand when you guys, do you understand? You have to be in person, and that specific day, you go and cast your votes. And then after we cast our votes, then you count the votes. But what I don't understand, when you guys, there are ballot papers that has been coming in, and then those ballot papers, when they come in, you saw Trump was up there, and then still those votes just come in, and then Trump is going down and down and down. But all those votes that are coming in through your mail that you guys are saying, it's all favoring Biden.
Yeah.
I felt that the election was not fair.
But wait a minute. You do, if you watched our election on television, you would know that President Trump told his supporters not to mail in votes. So when you say all the votes that came in through mail were favoring Biden, you don't think that Trump telling his supporters not to mail in votes at all had anything to do with that?
That's what I'm asking myself. Why do you have to mail votes in?
What if you're elderly and you have no way to get into a polling place?
Some things that I didn't understand, the democracy of the...
Huh?
You know, it's fine. That's what I'm saying. I'm not in America. I'm just saying from an outsider that is in somewhere in Africa, in South Africa.
Okay.
Because when we cast our vote, there's 2 days that dedicate for the votes. Then you have to go in person and vote and have your identity to make sure that the person is voting. I'm the one who's casting my vote. And the second thing of all, the media. I felt like CNA built their brand on Donald Trump. They're so obsessed with Donald Trump. And there's not only good things that they're talking about. It seems like now they're more Biden. And I felt that it doesn't give you a fair opinion of your media of CNN. I don't even watch it anymore because it's so polarized. It's only
I'm real curious.
they make their name on Donald Trump.
Now you're in what country? You're in South Africa. Is that what you said you're in?
Yes, I'm in South Africa.
Okay.
Because nobody will say Donald Trump doesn't love America. I believe that he is the first president that said America first.
Yeah.
It means he does love America.
Well, I'll tell you right up.
Some of the people have to.
Yeah, I'll tell you right off the bat, both Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton also used the phrase America first. So Trump is not the first to use that.
No, thank you very much. I learned something about it.
Okay.
But the fact remains, he made sure that anybody that lives in America, he has that best interest in heart. Because even companies that were outside in America, he said, come back to America.
So let me. So is it safe to say that most South Africans liked President Trump?
I'm one of those people. I like him a lot.
Okay.
Because I felt like America was in a good place for the 4 years that, yes, he does have his mistakes. Yes, he does have things, you understand, he doesn't do things according to. But there's nothing wrong about that. There's no big book to tell you how to be a president, to conduct your president. And all those charges that they are charging him, it's like, I don't want to say that people must not take this the wrong way. I don't want to say Putin and Biden are the same. But I believe Biden is doing things according to, he's learning a lot from Putin. Putin has made his opponents to go to prison. So Biden, the judge, the system that he's using is trying to do it, but in a good way. It's like he's doing it in a way that people don't see that he's trying to take Donald Trump to prison because Donald Trump is his big rival.
So I gotta move it on, but my last question I want to ask you is, how did you, if you're watching American news and you're hearing Trump speak, considering that you're in Africa, how did you feel when he talked about shithole countries?
The problem, shithole countries, I don't think South Africa is a shithole country. Because I believe that most media in America, when they paint Africa as like the sea, dark continents. They will be amazed because some of your American fellow brothers, when they come to South Africa, if they come here, like Nicki Minaj, they are very surprised. The infrastructure, how we live, all the things that we have. And to make an example, in my country, I'm going to the hospital, so I have a health free. I can go to hospital for free. I don't pay.
You're saying in South Africa you can go to the hospital for free and not pay. Do you believe Trump wants Americans? Do you believe Trump wants Americans to be able to go to the hospital and not pay as well?
I believe that he done. Yes, I believe that he have done a good job. When COVID didn't come, believe it, if there was no COVID, Donald Trump would have had a second term.
That ain't what I'm asking you. That's not what I'm asking you. I'm saying you're suggesting that when you have a medical issue, you can go to the hospital and not pay. Do you believe Trump? If I need to have surgery or something, do you believe that Trump wants me to be able to go to the hospital as an American and not pay?
You guys have never give his health bill of whatever you guys are calling it a fair chance.
Okay. All right.
Remember, I don't know who was the guy that voted out. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But here in South Africa, we get health for free.
Okay.
It's the only country in the whole world that give their citizens houses for free.
There's a lot of things that are going on. But the good part that I liked about Trump, he have put America first.
Right.
And he tried to protect the citizens and do as best as he can. And I believe that your media, CNA, of all those media houses, they have not been fair. They always paint him, and then even they are happy to paint him as a bad person. They don't paint the good 4 years that he has been the president. They don't highlight all the good things. Only thing they highlight is only bad things about Trump. I don't understand why.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you. All right. I got to move it on, but I do appreciate you coming in. I appreciate your point, Jenny. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for giving me a chance. But Trump does have supporters here in Africa, and we do love, as black people, we do love Trump. And I wish people can give him a second term, and then people please vote for him.
Oh.
Let him give him that 4 years. He deserves it. Thank you.
All right. Now, I will say this. She's not the first caller that was suggesting they were from a different country and supported President Trump. The only thing I have to ask, if Trump is reelected, how would South Africa benefit at all? Because she really seemed to be a big fan of President Trump. What would President Trump do for the nation of South Africa? Because she's like, please give him a chance. Listen, if he is a better president for this country than Biden, I get that. But she was pleading the case, and I'm thinking, like, how would South Africans benefit from another 4 years of President Trump? He's already talking about energy independence, getting us out of NATO, getting us out of the Paris Accord. How does South Africa benefit from another 4 years of Trump? Now, we might suggest that America benefits significantly. We can debate that, but what has Trump ever said that led you to believe South Africa would be doing better? I don't know. That was interesting. Looking in the comment section, you don't know what you're talking about, says pre-med biology. Well, the box is open. Certainly would love to have you come in. I make it clear I don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. You don't have to agree with the host. I won't limit or censor you in any way, fashion, or form. Program always will remain MAGA friendly in its entirety. You don't have to agree with the host. So if you think the host doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, you think the host is full of shit, I invite you to come on the program, let the host know. No banning, no blocking, no censoring. I'm going to challenge you, rightfully so, but I'll let you state your point. And no thanks. Pre-med biology, the one that just stated in the comments, I didn't know what the hell I was talking about, gave the invite and the response was, well, no thanks. I'd rather just kind of sit behind the keyboard and tell you you're full of shit. I don't want to actually have to, have a conversation with you in front of 700-800 people. I get it. Fair enough. All right, Africa has no opposition with Trump in power, says Peter. All right, going to go back to the box. He said, no thanks. We'll keep it moving. What is that? It says obstacles of life. Yeah, Adam. Appreciate the hat and mustache. Obstacles. I've been.
It's been a long time since I talked to you.
Oh, I'm glad to have you back. So what do you think? You see on the monitor behind me, we're talking about the notion that Biden's health appears to be.
Oh my God, this is because I've been noticing recently that there's been a lot of different countries that coming in here, and especially Africa, talking about Trump, Trump being in position. But see, that's what I feel like. Okay, in 2016 we had the election interference, and supposedly, but now we're actually seeing it in 24K and 4K.
So what about her suggesting? What about her suggesting that the election in 2020 was fraudulent? Trump potentially won, and we should all have mail-in ballots. There should be no other way to vote other than going in and casting a ballot.
Exactly what I'm saying.
So you think she got it right?
In 2016, there was no when he won, right? There was none of that. Well, there was actually a lot of it. So, I need to correct myself on that. But
what about in 2020? What about in 2020?
Well, yeah, exactly. We've seen it. I mean, Trump tried to, rig the election, with the fake electors and them going over there with the fake electors and all that stuff. Him having the postmaster general come in and fix the mail sorting machines so the mail would run slow. So we wouldn't get the ballots, placed on time.
So let me make sure I'm getting this clear. So you're saying I want to make sure I get clarity on this, because Trump is saying the election was taken from him, but what you're saying is in reality it was Trump himself trying to steal the election.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Because see, it's all connecting. It's like connect.org, First, it was him, installing the postmaster general. I want to take out the mail sorting machines. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I remember it all.
So then after that, then it led to basically them, setting up they were talking about how they were going to rig the election. Well, basically, the fake electorate scheme where they had to get the fake slips, slip them on January 6th so they could, send them back to the States so they could, do the gold switcheroo. Because that was the whole plan of his. That's what Mark Meadows, and that's why they're flipping on him right now. Okay, because, I'm going to just put it in slow terms, basically. Within the months prior to them, coming in and they had those meetings behind closed doors. That's why in that one video.
So you don't buy into the notion that Democrats cheated at all in 2020. So you really think the Democrats? You think that election was a fair election, then, right?
Yeah, of course, 100%. I mean, there's everything leads to Trump. I mean, he's just been dirty for his whole life. Even his own mother said he was dirty and grimy.
Did he? Did his own mother really say that about him?
Yeah. She said she didn't even want him to be president because it's he just screwed that up too.
Damn, I did not hear that. I'm curious to see that now. His own mother said that he's grimy and Say that again.
Sorry, but no, everybody around him knows, that he's dirty.
I don't know about everybody. I mean, he's got some people around him that are really on his team. I don't know if I would say everybody around him knows that he's dirty, but I'm curious to hear that part about his own mother. I would love to find that. Did I lose you? Okay, but looks like my last caller went in and out of mute. We'll keep it moving though. This guy, what did that say? It went up too fast. Guest has low IQ, you can tell. What is he saying? You guys are mean. What did my last guest say that would lead you to believe he had a low IQ? And I see you on the YouTube side there. Aunt Belichick, I think that says Democrats make you laugh. Well, listen, it's an honor having you here, and it's a pleasure being able to bring a chuckle to your face. I'm certainly happy if I can do that. But looking at the comments, brainwashing at its best. There are folks who have said that on both sides of the aisle. We're going to keep it moving. Real quick, the whole purpose of the program, appreciate you folks if you would tap the screen. Get your boy up to 30,000 likes. Let your thumbs not be lazy for you TikTok viewers. Real quick, the question we're asking before I go to the next guest is, with Biden supposedly being in advanced stages of dementia, not knowing where the hell he's at, can't string together two sentences, would the health of a candidate of your choice, whether you lean right, left, or independent, if their health was, let's say, equivalent to the health you're seeing from President Biden, would that alone lead you to switch to the other side? I'm asking that because a lot of folks are asking, with Trump supposedly being far more alert and healthy than Biden mentally, why won't you vote for Trump as opposed to Biden? So even to my beloved MAGA, let's say Trump was showing signs of dementia, slurring words, falling down, and Biden was completely alert and healthy. Would that lead you to not vote for Trump and switch over to Biden? Because that's what's being asked for folks on the left. That's what we're going to be talking about. I think we can all agree of some of these politicians are way too old. Yeah, but what is your age limit? I'd vote third party before I ever vote Dem. All right, Takesha, good afternoon.
Handsome.
Talk to me.
When does slurring your words and tripping, when is that a sign of dementia?
What about mental decline?
That's a sign of old age.
Yeah. But Trump is not doing this stuff, is he?
Let me say this. My auntie has dementia. My my ex-pastor has dementia. My auntie's best friend has dementia. My friend from when I was a child, mom had dementia before she passed.
Okay.
My grandmother, who I took care of, had Alzheimer's dementia. Biden does not have damn dementia.
Do you see? Okay, all right. Let's take dementia off the table. Let's take dementia off the table. Do you see Biden in mental decline at all?
If you have ever cared for someone with dementia, you would know the difference in dementia and the lying that these people are doing. But go ahead and ask me the question.
Wait, you said the difference between dementia and what?
And the lying.
Okay, I'm learning words today. So let's take dementia off the table. What about the potential for mental decline? Do you see Biden in any mental health decline?
The man is old.
Yeah.
Hell, I forget. And I'm doggone 47 years. Listen to me, can't even get my age right. I'm 48. I forget. Guess what I was doing the other day? Coming up the steps in the house, and guess what I did? Tripped and almost fell. Do I have dementia?
No. No. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right, but when you look at Trump, who is also 77, do you not see Trump being far more alert than Biden?
Anybody that say they weigh 217 pounds, they losing their mind.
I feel like I'm throwing you softballs. This is too damn easy for you at this point. All right, so.
Hold on, I gotta go down and come back up. I'm echoing.
All right. Yeah, something. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened there, but something happened. All right, now see in the comments, somebody said, "I love this lady." We'll just keep it moving real quick. We'll come back. MAGA Slayer. Always good to hear from MAGA. Welcome to the good side, handsome liberal. Okay, listen, I'm trying to find out. Mental decline, is that enough to leave Biden and go to Trump? MAGA Slayer, good afternoon.
Hey there, bud.
Hey, what's
And
up?
the first lady from Africa, she was out there. And I noticed that you really, like a scalded cat, avoided that question about Trump's comments on shithole countries.
Yeah.
Totally avoided that.
Yeah, she tried to,
And
yeah.
And the guy after that, boy, he took a left turn on me because I thought he was going a different direction. And then all of a sudden he came out with truth.
It happens.
I thought with his election fraud that he was going a different path, but no, he brought up the real shit.
Yeah. So, but what about the notion? Now, you heard Takesha made it clear she doesn't see Biden having dementia.
That lady was spot on. Nailed it. She could have walked through your live right now and just dropping the fuck out of that mic. She nailed it.
Yeah, Takesha's always a pretty.
Nothing wrong with Biden.
Yeah,
anybody that thinks there's something wrong with Biden's mind, just go watch the State of the Union address. He okey-doked the hell out of the Republicans. I mean, it was masterful. Skilled politician. Man knows what he's doing. He's got a bunch of shit done. And what's the alternative? 91 fucking felony charges? I think not.
Well, they believe that 91 charges are all witch hunts and made up, though.
Yeah, well, there's some people that believe in the tooth fairy too, but that doesn't work out.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, though.
The Florida case.
Go ahead.
Go on.
No, I was going to say.
That's a black and white.
Yeah, I was going to say, though, at the end of the day, do we really, I think I may have asked you this before, do we really think a former president is going to really face any accountability for this stuff?
I do. Mark my words. I placing my bet. Yes, I believe he's actually going to serve time in prison.
It actually be incarcerated, not house arrest, incarcerated.
Not house arrest, incarcerated.
Wow.
I believe it's going to happen.
70, he'll be like 80 plus years old.
Don't do the crime if you can't do the time, right?
I mean, that's what they say. Damn. Wow. I mean, how do you think this country would fall apart though if they put Trump in jail? There's people threatening civil unrest.
Whatever. You know what? A lot of this country's got the memory of a goldfish. They'll get over it. And besides, you know what? We've got plenty of jail cells open. Have at it. And it's not going to be like some mass movement. If anything, there'll be little, guys going off the deep end here and there doing, whatever they're going to be trying to do. But I did take notice that Trump literally promoted people coming to him, turning himself in Georgia for his arrest. And there was only a couple dozen people that showed up. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's interesting you were bringing it up because when he got arrested in Miami, thank you, the narcissist. I love the name. Wow, thank you for the hat mustache. When Trump was indicted or, arrested in Miami, he also called for protests, and the amount of folks showed up there was also lackluster. So, yeah, you are correct. It does seem as though...
Yeah, and this time was less than that time. So they're dwindling.
Yeah, I think
not, a bunch of red people.
Yeah, I think the issue is folks see what happened on January 6th and realize that even though they may think that Trump got mistreated and they want to help him, they realize you truly can go to jail for this stuff. I mean, you got a bunch of folks in jail making an album. What was it called? The January 6th Choir or whatever they were. I mean, so they see, if you go down here and try to protest on behalf of this guy, and something happens to you, it's not like Trump is showing up with a whole bunch of bond money and getting these people out. So...
No, he ain't bailing you out. That's for damn sure. He might grift off you and get you to sing a song so you could make out some money for him, but that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that is the reason why his calls for protest have been weak, is that, folks are like, we want to defend you, but shit, if something go down, we don't know if you have our back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And although this whole process is going to take some time, in October we are going to get 2 pieces of candy because what's his name, Cheeseborough and Sidney Powell, the Kraken, they've it's been approved for them to get their little speedy trial. They'll be going to trial October something. I don't remember what day.
Why do you? Yeah, it's October 24th. October 24th. But why do you think they're rushing to get this? You think they're trying to potentially flip on Trump, Sidney Powell?
I mean, I can't speak for what's in their head. One school of thought would be that they didn't think that the prosecution would be ready to go, but she's like, jump, Froggy, let's go.
Yeah. Adam, you're talking about, over a dozen co-defendants. I would have to assume the chances are somebody's going to basically work with the government and snitch on him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're humans, monkeys that lie a lot. So, I mean, I don't know how those folks are sleeping at night because they got to know there's a whole bunch of their buddies that are going to be flipping on each other.
Yeah. So I want to ask you this because this inevitably comes up anytime you're talking about Trump. Joe Biden, for instance, somebody in the comments now talking about Joe Biden is, taking your money and things like that. How do you view the deflection from Trump to Joe Biden, or the comparison of these two?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about the GOP, I mean, they're doing they're dangling every shiny object they can to have them distracted from what's going on with Trump. That's a fact. But I just told these folks, all these accusations they're making of Trump, take note, put the footnote in your mind, and see if anything's come to fruition 6 months from now. Because I can promise you, none of their bullshit's nothing's gonna happen from it. And 6 months they'll be crying about something else, like they went through Mr. Potato Head, they went through Dr. Seuss, they went through Bud Light, yada, they've Hunter's laptop, blah 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 blah.
But do you think Hunter Biden is 100% innocent?
No, and let him be done with it.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Listen, I don't believe Hunter Biden is 100% innocent either, but he is not running for office, and I'm in the same camp as you. If he's done something wrong, prosecute him. I have not heard one liberal to date state that what's going on with Hunter Biden is a witch hunt. None of us are defending Hunter Biden. If Hunter Biden goes down, he goes down.
And what he did was, I mean, do you know what he did? What Hunter did?
Lied on a firearms application.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not like he committed this heinous crime. I mean, okay, he broke the law. All right, fucking charge him, whatever. But he's never been charged with felony before, so it's not unusual that he would get probation on it. That's not unusual at all. That's normal.
Yeah.
And President Biden, he could have, number one, he could have pardoned him. He could have changed the Trump appointed investigator or prosecutor. He didn't do that. So, I mean, Biden's just doing what he's supposed to be doing. I did like Biden's, the one response I've seen that Biden have as far as Trump's cases go. A reporter cornered him the other day and said to him, "Did you see Trump's mugshot?" Biden got the biggest goddamn smile on his face you can imagine. He's like, "Yeah, I saw it on the television."
He called him but did you say he was a handsome guy or something like that?
Yeah. What'd you think of it? And he said, "Yeah, he's a handsome guy."
Yeah. You know who is probably getting the biggest kick out of Trump's mugshot? Hillary Clinton.
Oh, Hillary.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton.
All day long.
Yeah,
she's probably got a dartboard already printed up with that mugshot.
Shit, take that down to the range and shoot at him. All right, MAGA Slayer. Appreciate you.
I just want to add,
Sure.
You gotta admit, Biden's got a damn good sense of humor, too. It's nice to have a president that actually has a sense of humor.
Yeah, well, I think Trump is really good at speaking with people that agree with him. I don't think Trump does a bad job at it either. It's just tailored to one side as opposed to, I don't think he
has a sense of humor except towards being mean.
Some would argue that. Fair enough. All right, I got to move it on, man. I appreciate you coming through.
Have a good one, buddy.
You too.
Have a good Sunday.
Absolutely, you too. All right, looking in the comments. By the way, tap the screen. Get your boy up to 35,777, I think it says there. Looking in the comments. And by the way, I seen someone on YouTube pointing out that Biden said racist comments and things like that. Listen, just real quick in regards to the suggestion that, Biden is racist and has said racial comments, you're not going to get a disagreement from yours truly. I certainly believe that Biden has said things that are racially oriented. And not only is it not coming from just yours truly, Biden himself has admitted to having a racist past. The problem is this. Biden has over and over again apologized profusely for saying and doing racist shit. And I will tell you this, I say it all the time. An apology, whether you believe it or not, an apology will always beat fuck your feelings 100% of the time. So we can bring up Biden saying things that made him sound like he's racist or the crime bill or any of that. Biden hasn't denied this stuff. Biden doesn't go, well, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Even vote for me, you ain't black. He immediately apologized for that. He didn't try to say it was locker room talk or downplay it in any way. He apologized for it, and it's up to us voters if we accept it. But he did apologize. So the issue becomes, and I see in the comments folks say, well, every apology is not forgiven. 100% agree with that as well. But I'm just going to tell you, if you apologize, whether it's forgiven, taking as genuine, or they think you're making this shit up, you're still going to do better than someone looking you in the eye and saying, fuck your feelings. An apology will beat fuck your feelings 100% of the time. Period. That's just the way it is. Because you may not accept Biden's apology. Trump isn't even asking for one. He's saying, fuck your feelings. I don't care if you want an apology or not. So some folks will accept Biden's apology. Some folks will not. Trump doesn't give you one to even choose to accept. His response is, fuck your feelings. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're misinterpreting it. I didn't mean it that way. Go to hell. Going back to the box. We'll keep it moving with, I don't know who I just hit there. I'm trying to, hang on a second. I'm having some problems here. The Goodfellas are going to jail. I don't know what that means, but, oh, you're talking about Trump. You do believe Trump? I don't know. I have a hard time believing if Trump ultimately will serve time. Oh yeah, 024. Good afternoon.
You got it.
Hey, so what do you
What's
think?
happening, man?
That's all good. So I had on the monitor behind me because we were talking about the notion that Biden is potentially out of it to the point where maybe because Biden has, early signs of dementia or doesn't know where the hell he's at, can't string together a sentence. Would that lead you to vote for Trump?
No way. No way, no how. A few people before me have stated, Biden's getting old, but he's nowhere near. I used to take care of dementia. I worked as a CNA, certified nursing assistant, for 12 years. And he does not exhibit what I've seen of dementia. He's getting older, which a lot of us are. I'm 54, about to turn 55. He's not at the mental decline state as you see Trump at during his presidency with his Covfefe and, trying to inject bleach and all this into people and introducing ultraviolet lights into people. The man is, Trump is getting slow and, he has mental decline, plus he was an idiot before he had mental decline. The man speaks at a fourth grade level. They say, oh, he's plain spoken, and he's an idiot. He's not proven it. He wants to prove that he wanted Barack Obama to prove that he was a citizen. I would like him to prove that he graduated from college. I would like for him to prove that he has any smarts. He took a cognitive test and was bragging about it.
But wait a minute, regardless if we agree with what Trump claims his billionaire worth is, there's no denying he is super rich. You don't think he's a smart guy at all? The guy has that kind of wealth?
So to be given fortune is no way proven that you're rich. Even in this America, to amass a fortune in this country and have his skin tone does not say that you're a genius. He didn't come up with a formula to revolutionize any industry. He used wealth to gain wealth. So does that mean if you look at his intelligence and his business acumen, he ran how many businesses into the ground? He ran a casino into the ground from his underdealing and his criminal behavior.
Yeah, but let's take what you said. Trump did receive a large inheritance from his dad, but you don't see where he took that money and made more money off of it. He could have went broke. A lot of folks have inherited money and went broke. He actually turned his dad's inheritance into a far larger fortune. You don't give him any credit for any of that?
No, because he leveraged his dad's wealth. There's plenty good reporting stating that his dad was dumping $200 million into his company. There's good reporting saying his business losses. Even before the election, remember, before he was elected president, there is tape of Air Trump.
Wait, but you're saying 200 million. Trump claims he only received $1 million loan from his dad.
That's his claim, but there's other reporting showing that he kept getting money dumped into his company. He kept getting money from his dad's millionaire friends, propping up his losses. He had people backing his losses. He lost, I don't know how many times. We know how many businesses he ran in the ground.
So in other words, you don't see where Trump made any smart moves financially at all.
No. And then he's never proved he was a billionaire.
Yeah, I got even as someone who leans left, I gotta totally disagree with that. I mean, just his income from what was the TV show that show alone would make a person super rich. I mean, you're talking about a hit primetime show that was on for a number of years. Just being on that show, not counting golf courses and skyscrapers and hotels, you really don't see him doing anything good at all business wise.
He sold it. I mean, he leveraged his success. He leveraged his name. He doesn't even build anymore. He sells his licenses. And now he's putting that in the ground. But, I mean, was he a genius for doing that? He lies. I mean, does that mean he's a business genius? No. Because nobody can name anything he created or innovated, right? So creative people innovate things, and those are considered genius. So I would say, just the fact that he leveraged his wealth and lives off of his fame and fortune, he's doing good with that. I mean, he's a multi-millionaire because of that, but is he a genius? No.
I don't, the term genius is kind of relative, but I do think he's a successful businessman. I mean, me and you may differ on that part. Did he make some mistakes? Does he have a lot of bankruptcies? Yes. But anyone that has as many businesses and many dealings as he has, most business guys at that level have a bankruptcy or two.
Okay. Let's say this. I come from, modest means, poor, middle class neighborhood. If I gained, had sold something and became a millionaire, billionaire, or a millionaire, just say million, and I was able to sell one of my ideas and became a millionaire. I don't have the connections to prop me up to keep me rich if I fail. I don't have the family connections to keep me afloat.
Right.
So he would have went under and been poor. You know what I mean? They kept him at that status because he has the connection. He didn't do anything to come back from his failures. His connections did. So, I mean, the genius side. He leverages connections. That's cool.
Right.
I ain't saying nothing wrong with that, but he's terrible at business.
I get what you're saying. I'm just going to say to some degree, I don't know if we agree or disagree, but let's move it on.
No.
So at the end of the day,
Right.
huh?
I said,
Okay.
Move on.
So at the end of the day, though, with this guy facing 91, potentially 91 felonies, like my last caller, do you believe he's actually going to be incarcerated?
God willing, and I do believe he's gonna get sentenced. But will he actually go to jail? I don't know.
Let me ask you let me present it to you this way. Let's say you were Trump's predecessor or processor. You're the guy who came into office after Trump, and your advisors told you, for the good of the country, sir, it might be a good idea to consider pardoning Trump, and you had the power of the pardon. Would you pardon him?
No, he doesn't deserve a pardon. I don't think any president. He should be pardoned at all, just for the way he tried to destroy our country. So a lot of people don't believe he did try to destroy our country. The way I see it, he did. And I believe he should be locked away for the rest of his life, and the rest of some of his family.
His family too? Well, let me. He was an America First candidate. What did he do, in your opinion, that led you to believe he was trying to destroy the country?
Okay, well, look at the current thing that's going on right now. Russia attacked
The Ukraine. Yeah.
Because they were going to join
NATO.
NATO. Trump's obsession with pulling us out of NATO is something that would have made our country weaker.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know why these mega morons, mega voters don't seem to understand that world is paying for our security. Now, Trump trying to destroy our relationship with NATO, to me, was trying to destroy our country. It did something that Putin didn't like. He was Putin's puppet. They're not looking at that. They're not looking at the fact that Putin put bounties on our soldiers and Trump did nothing about that. They're not looking at the fact that he coddled to countries that are antithetical to freedom. But they don't look at all this stuff. I'm looking at it, and I see him as being compromised. I definitely believe he was compromised by money. As I was stating earlier, Eric Trump said that they get all their money from Russia. He said that before the election, and there is proof. This is about Trump being a poor businessman. He couldn't get money from American banks. He was so poor he didn't like to pay back people. That's why they go to Russia for money.
So you really see, you sound, to some degree, it sounds like you see Trump's whole life as one big grift.
Yes, I believe he is. They used to call publicists publicists pretending to be somebody else. I think he's a predator, financial and sexual.
Wow. Well, you got to admit, if he is all of what you're suggesting, he has to be the most successful person at that in history. If his whole life is a grift and he's done this well, never did any time, never has been convicted of anything so far, he's been very, very successful at it.
Well, I mean, see now, this goes to our country, having catering to people with money. If you're rich, you can't get out of things. People, like all the time point at OJ. He got away with murder. I don't think he really committed the murders, but he got away with being involved in it for sure, and that's only because he was rich.
Oh, we know the legal system is tailored to those with as opposed to those without.
Yeah. And if he wasn't able to pay out prosecutors and pay his way out of indictments and all kind of things, he would be in jail also.
Yeah. So that's a good point. Michael Cohen has probably saved Trump from a few cases. But I do got to move it on, y'all. Appreciate you coming in here, man.
Appreciate you.
Always.
And, I appreciate you as the Handsome Liberal show. I think you're a little too far in the middle, but...
Whoa. What is it like to be a little too far in the middle? Explain. What does that mean?
Well, we're in a state in our country. It's a very dangerous time, and to give acknowledgement to some of this crazy crap that's coming from the right is too much in the middle for me. I mean, I don't care if Trump wins the nomination. He's going to lose, right? But if any Republican at this time wins the nomination, because it's Trump's party, they're going to lose. And to say that there's a Republican that's worth voting for in this day and age, with the way they're acting and the way they are, is too. I mean,
I get it. I just wanted to hear that. That's the first time I ever heard somebody say you're a little too far in the middle. All right, but I got to move it on, y'all.
Different day and different time, we'd be all right. But not today, not next year.
All right. That's different. All right, you too. Now, real quick in the comments, Kevin Mills tuning in, because this is also being run simultaneously live on YouTube as well. Kevin Mills, I hate ignorant people. So I'm going to bounce you two guys. Stay strong and stay safe. Now, I just wanted to present this comment because it's very common for me to have folks come on the show and talk about, they give me accolades, they give me compliments because they suggest it's very difficult to talk to liberals on their live streams because liberals do not like to hear counter opinions. They often block Trump supporters, block MAGA, which is also why you always see me with the MAGA hat on the program, is because I want to make you guys know or let you guys know this is a MAGA-friendly program. I don't believe in blocking and banning folks. But that comment from Kevin Mills suggesting that you two guys are ignorant, I'm out of here. shows that this also comes from folks on the right. Clearly, he did not like the exchange of opinions between me and the last guest, probably went against his politics as he referred to us as ignorant, so he decided to leave. So I just wanted to point that out because folks, my audience is mostly MAGA, mostly, lean right. Most of my audience members lean right. But I just wanted to point that out because there are a lot of folks on the right as well that do not like hearing adverse opinions. That was a perfect example of that. All right, looking in the comments, Trump train in full speed to prison 2024. I don't see it. I don't know, but I understand there's a hell of a lot of liberals that do not want Trump pardoned. And I'm just going to say what I've said from day one. Trump's mouth is the reason all of this shit is happening. Whether you think Trump truly committed crimes or you think it's all a witch hunt. Whether you think Trump truly won the 2020 election or he lost, which is what the authorities are suggesting. All of it, mouth. It's all mouth, period. If Trump was not running his mouth and constantly attacking people and insulting the hell out of America's elite, he would be serving a second term in office right now and would not be facing a single charge. That's my humble opinion. It's all mouth, which is why when you speak to MAGA, when I talk to Trump supporters, they're often pointing out $2 gas, the way Trump projected strength on the world stage, the economy, and things. None of it is mouth related. Because even folks on the Trump train, the Trump supporters, realize his mouth did not help him. It did not help his term. It did not help his reelection campaign. It is not helping him now. For folks who believe that the case against President Trump is a witch hunt, speaking to you directly, for those who believe the case against President Trump is a witch hunt, let me ask you an honest question. If you were in court, whether it was for speeding or a murder charge, do you believe you would get a fair trial if you were publicly criticizing a judge and insulting their family? Do you believe that trial would be fair for you? Criticizing the judge, talking about their family members and all of that, doing it all over the internet. Do you think you would get a fair trial? The reason I'm asking that is because folks are going to hold the courts accountable if they don't give Trump a fair trial. I just want to point that out. Not here to bash or defend Trump, just pointing out that expecting a judge to give you a fair trial while you're acting like that is ludicrous. And if you look at it from an unbiased perspective, I'm talking to all of my law-abiding, patriotic MAGA supporters. You would absolutely go apeshit if it was anyone else doing that to a judge in open court. It's Trump. I get it. It's Trump. So the bias in favor of Trump or the love for what he did for the country is a whole different level. But there's nobody out there that should rightfully think you're going to get a fair case in court when you're openly criticizing not only the judge, but their families and doing all of that shit. So be prepared at the end of the court case to say he didn't get a fair trial because you're ignoring the fact that he's doing this stuff to judges and prosecutors. I mean, listen, a judge doesn't have control over the cases they receive. They get the notes or the pamphlets or whatever the hell you call it, the docket or whatever the hell it's called in legalese. This is who represents your next case. This is the next case that's going to come before your bench. They don't get to choose that. So how the hell do they become deranged? Trump is already calling these folks deranged and all kinds of insults. That judge had no control over Trump being sent before them as a defendant. That's just an insult. That's what we're talking about. Also, the notion that no Democratic judge could judge Trump fairly. That also is an insult. Just because I lean left or I lean right, that automatically means I cannot be an unbiased judge on the bench. That also is an insult. How would you like if someone told you that? Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. How would you like if someone told you because you vote Republican or because you're a Democrat, it means you're automatically biased and can't do your job? You don't see that as an insult at all? So I just want to point that out. Looking in the box, I'm pointing that out because that's not going to help Trump go into court. For you folks, get prepared. For you Trump supporters, folks who support Trump, get prepared to suggest that his case is not being handled fairly by the judge, because he's doing what he can to piss off the judge. Bariqua, Dave, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. I live here in Alabama. I already know. Yeah, I don't know anybody who thinks it's a good idea to criticize the judge. Bariqua, good afternoon.
What's up? Hey, can you hear me pretty good?
Loud and clear.
Okay, all right. First, I want to say, I follow you. I like watching your show.
Appreciate that.
And, I also like going in the comments, and I like to stir things up and make people laugh, or stir things up. But anyway, your original question that you started your show with is if Trump was say the question again.
The question I asked, if Trump had the mental capacity that we're observing in Biden, not being able to, as folks would say, can't string together two sentences, can't read without a teleprompter, doesn't know where the hell he's at. If that was happening to Trump, as a Trump supporter, would that lead you to switch to Biden? That was the question.
No, and I would not vote for Trump. I will vote for what my GOP or whoever comes out,
Hey, hang on a second. You got something banging behind you. It sounds like you're trying to break out of jail. What is that banging noise?
Oh, no, that's my bowl. I got my ice cream. You know how you get ice cream and you put it in a bowl?
All right. Okay, all right. If I can hear it loud and clear.
My bad.
All right.
Because I got these Beats headphones, they like ultra,
Okay. We can definitely hear that. We can hear that metal. We can hear that clanging.
Okay, so let me do this then. All right. All right, can you hear me better?
Loud and clear.
I don't want to. Okay, so I will vote for what my party, who comes out of my party, that I feel that has a good chance to win, that I am aligned with. No, I would not vote for a sitting president right now that has shown signs of dementia. Okay, does he have dementia? It looks like it. Is he playing dumb because all the stuff that's going on with his son? It could be that too. We don't know. We are not up there with the powers to be. We are down here. So being down here, we need to realize and wake up and things that we see. Now we know, well, I know if I watch CNN, I cannot believe everything that CNN is saying, such as Fox, such as the mainstream media. So I have to look somewhere else and try to find the truth of what's going on. The truth being the fact that, yes, Biden's son, has dealings with China going back to when Trump was in that debating with Biden, was it 2018, whatever, and he even said it, your son has dealings in China.
Okay.
And what did Biden say? Biden said, oh, no, he don't. No. Even Jake Tapper brought it up.
But wait a minute. So would Biden's son, Hunter Biden, if you believe Hunter Biden has dealings in China, would that be enough for you not to vote for Joe Biden?
Well, let me give you, no. I just need, I'm not just going to jump on the first thing, but now the story's getting interesting because why is, back when he was vice president, why is your son flying in Air Force 2 to all these other places, and now it comes about every dealing that he has in all these shell corporations? Now, we know that if you was in the mob and you had shell corporations everywhere and nothing to show for it, to say, what service are you giving, what's going to happen?
So then I have to ask you, because we're talking about the potential that a president's son enriched himself due to his dad's position. Because I'm sure you are aware that Ivanka Trump got 26 Chinese patents while Trump was in office, and her husband Jared Kushner got like $2 billion from the Saudis. So I'm asking the question: Are we going to get rid of candidates Because they're children?
No. No, but if you're aligned with it and you're aligned about their dealings, saying that you have no idea what they're doing, like, let's be realistic. If your son goes with you, what state you live in, if you don't mind me asking?
Illinois.
Let's say you live in California. Let's say you live in California, and you go on a trip to Bike Week in North Carolina, and your son, let's say he's 21. Dad, I want to go too. All right, come on, son, let's go. You take him down there. You definitely gonna ask him, hey, son, what you plan on doing? You definitely want to know what you're gonna do, and you're gonna advise him, hey, I know you're 21, but hey, be careful out there. The do's and the don'ts. Even though you're 21, you're a young man, but you're gonna let him know, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So don't tell me that Biden did not know what his sons did.
Yeah, but let me interrupt. What you're basically saying is that Hunter Biden had Dylan's. Joe Biden knew about it and lied. So you're holding Biden accountable, Joe Biden, for lying about what he knew on his son, right?
Exactly.
So
True.
Are you suggesting that, say, Trump is an honest president and Biden is not?
No. Let me tell you about Trump, okay? I grew up in the Bronx, okay? And I know Trump from back when, in the 80s, and I was very highly upset when he took out that page ad on the Central Park situation, okay? Now, when he came in to run, I was like, I'm not a Trump fan, but I get it. We probably don't need a politician. We probably need now a businessman. Granted, his businesses has not been like, hey, making a whole lot of money, but he made money. He made money. Like you pointed out, that TV show, The Apprentice, he made money off of that. Okay, so the man knows something about business. Now, when he ran, the choice we had was him or Hillary. Okay, now this is the same Hillary who let 13 people.
Wait, hold on. You don't want to. So in other words, you don't like any of them.
No, well, I like everybody. I love everybody, but don't feed me the bull crap. But that's what's going on.
Which one of them have not fed you the bull crap?
They all fed me bull.
That's what I'm talking
But
about.
you gotta look at sometimes you gotta look at what is the lesser of two evils, right? Now, we know for a fact that Trump said the truth back in the debate against Hillary when he said, when she came out and said he don't pay his taxes. What did he say? Even Dave Chappelle brought it out. What did he say? Change the tax code. If you change the tax code, I'll pay my taxes. But you're not going to change the tax code. Why? Because your investors or whatever, don't want you to. Okay? So don't tell me that he's not paying the taxes when you're doing the same thing he's doing. So they're all feeding us crap. But when you got crap thrown in your face with Hunter Biden with the laptop and they trying to, many ways they try to get to talk to him, but the DOJ blocked him. Now, we are all innocent until proven guilty, correct?
That is true.
Okay. Now, I live in Georgia now. Fannie has all these charges, a RICO charge on Trump, right?
That is true.
Okay. Her case against Young Thug is falling apart.
Let me ask you that. In regards to that, where were, let's say, Trump supporters? Where were they when she was putting these RICO charges on everybody else?
Where were who?
The folks who were talking about Trump getting railroaded and how the system is mistreating them. Where were they when the system? Do you realize how many people have been mistreated by the system? Why didn't folks seem to give a damn until it became Trump?
If you want, you know what? I've been mistreated by the system. I could tell you stories me growing up in the Bronx.
That ain't what I'm asking you. Hold on, hang on. Let me hear me out. Wait a minute. Hear me out. Where were these same folks who talk about Trump being mistreated? You know how many thousands of people in this country have been mistreated by the system? Where were these people at when this stuff was happening? If you want to talk about the DOJ or the FBI hold on, wait a minute, I'm not done. Hang on. If you want to talk about the FBI or the DOJ being corrupt, African Americans been saying that shit since the 50s. Where were these people at? Go.
I I don't know. I don't know where these people, they didn't show up. I don't know where these people are at. I could tell you where I was at. Okay?
Where was Trump at? Where was Trump at?
Okay. Trump is being Trump. Okay? Trump is his own man. Now, I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm not saying he's guilty. What I am saying is that it's wrong when you're trying to use the justice system to stop somebody from running. Number two,
Who's doing
try
that?
to use
Who's doing that?
Fannie Willis. All these, every state that has these charges against Trump, you don't think it's kind of funny that they're doing it now when he's running it? When, you know.
So let me ask you. You believe Trump is 100% innocent of everything he's been charged with?
No, I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm just saying it's very peculiar the time that they choose to do this.
They have the right to do that. They have the right to choose to.
They do, but you don't think. Come on.
Well, let me go with what you just said. You said it's really peculiar to pick and choose a certain time. Did you notice that Trump was not saying Obama was born in Kenya until he became president? Is that not peculiar timing? He didn't say that when he was a senator.
He was saying a whole lot of stuff. Trump was saying Obama was not born in the United States. Obama's born in Kenya. He was saying a whole lot of stuff. I'm not saying I love Trump. I'm not saying I'm voting for Trump. I'm not saying he's right.
How do you feel about the word?
I'm just saying,
How do you feel about the word karma?
hey, it happens to everybody.
There you go.
You know,
There
do
you
right,
go.
You get, karma. You know,
Yeah.
if you do right, God will bless you.
Yeah.
If you do wrong to your neighbor, God will also, take care of that.
Right.
Okay, is this karma? I don't know. All I do know is that if we are running for office, okay, I think it's wrong that, you're trying to take me to court because I am questioning the outcome of the race. I'm just
No. Wait, hang on. He's not questioning the outcome of the race. He's saying he won by a landslide. He said he won by a landslide. He didn't question it.
Well, he was up.
That ain't. But
All of a sudden,
that's not what I'm saying. If your own attorney general tells you we trace down the claims you're making, sir, and those claims are invalidated, why are you still going around saying you won by a landslide? Your own VP is telling you lost. These aren't liberals. This isn't your opposition.
Pence, you talk about Pence.
I'm talking about the guy that Trump appointed vice president. Yes, that guy.
Pence, that guy.
Yeah.
That guy's a stiff. Okay.
Why did Trump appoint a stiff? Why did Trump appoint a stiff?
I don't know.
Then do you hold Trump accountable? Do you hold Trump accountable for appointing a stiff? Do you hold Trump accountable for that?
Yes.
All right. All right.
He's not. I don't know why. He's accountable for the stuff he's done. I'm not saying he's not accountable. I'm not saying
You can't. Let me just say it like this.
I'm just saying, it's peculiar how all this is going on right when he's starting to run.
No, it's not. It's not peculiar. You're making it clear. You cannot surround yourself with snakes and then complain why you're getting bit.
All right, so you're telling me if he didn't run right now, will all this stuff be happening to him right now?
If he didn't run I'm answering the question.
No, you're gonna give me a speech. It's a yes or no answer.
Whose show? Wait a minute.
He's not running right now.
Whose show is
He's
this?
not running right now.
Whose show is this?
Oh, this is your show.
All right. So you gonna ask me a question. You're gonna ask me a question and dictate how I can answer it?
Well, I asked you a question, my man. I'm saying, yes or no? It's yes or no. Do you think if he wasn't running right now, will all this stuff right now be coming out?
Yes.
All these charges?
Yes. You wanted a yes or no question, right? Okay. What I was trying to say before you interrupted me, what I was trying to say is that if he wasn't running his mouth constantly, all of this stuff wouldn't be happening. That's why this is happening, not because he's running for office, because he's running his mouth is why all this stuff is happening.
He's a native New Yorker. That's what New Yorkers do. Okay, if you're not born, you wasn't born in New York, then you don't have the idea that that's how it is over
Okay,
there.
then native New, then
I'm turning for somebody.
I don't
who's born and raised over
listen.
there.
I don't
New
honestly.
Yorker.
I don't care about that. I don't care what town you're from. If you're insulting people, there's a price to pay for it. I don't care if you're from New York. You can't just insult cops and senators and generals and say, "Well, I'm from New York." You don't get away with that. You can.
You can't insult, but they can insult you and bring up charges and prosecute you, for all charges and make up charges. Come on.
I asked you about karma.
Two-tier system.
I asked you about
Two-tier system.
two-tier system. The guy got 91 charges. Has never been even so much as put in handcuffs. You call that two-tier?
I'm gonna tell you right now, if they all gonna blow away. Do you know how much his voters, people that are gonna vote for him, has just grown?
No,
The
I don't.
only thing the Democrats are doing is helping him.
I don't. I believe it's
Selling
a.
his mugshot.
Okay.
He's selling his mugshot. He said, I just saw this dude on TikTok. Okay, he said that he had a shirt, and he said, "And if you get the rest of it, for Trump." Okay, everybody is voting Trump.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you this question. Let's say you are doesn't matter who you support, but let's say you supported Trump, and you truly believe. Now this is all fictional, but I'm asking you this question. Let's say you are a Trump supporter, but you truly believed that Trump was using the system to railroad Biden. You supported Trump and all his principles, but you believed that they were wrongfully charging Biden. Would that be enough to make you switch from Trump and vote for Biden?
I would not vote for Biden. You know why? Because Biden is not trustworthy.
But you think the liberals would vote for Trump?
You know what? Your son is you know what? God forgive me. If you have a drug problem, you got a drug problem, and you know what? His son has a drug problem, and I pray for his son. Okay, we shouldn't put people who have, problems, either psychological or drug abuse or whatever in today's age because, it's wrong. But don't tell me he didn't know his son had a drug problem. And don't tell me that all this money he's giving to Ukraine, okay, and yet he gave $700 per person, per family in Hawaii. And then he goes down there and then he says, oh yeah, I know how it feels to lose things. I almost lost my 67 Corvette and my wife and my cat.
All right, I do got to move it on. This has been a spirited conversation. I certainly would love to talk to you some more, but I do got to move it on. Come on back anytime, man.
Hey, real quick, man.
Real quick.
Hey, I appreciate your show. All right, I appreciate your show and thank you.
Anytime. Now, and everything that the last guest said, I don't disagree with everything that he said, but here's one of the things I do want to point out, because what he said is something you hear often, and to some degree that's what the show is about, is Biden so bad that it'll make you switch over to President Trump. Now, what he was pointing out is that he believes that the Democrats are using the justice system to go after President Biden. And as a result, it's making President Trump stronger. My humble opinion is that's not correct. Maybe I'm wrong. I see the polls. I see what's going on. I don't believe that the system going after Trump is making him stronger. I believe it's making his base like him more. I don't believe in sheer numbers of folks supporting Trump that's growing at all. I think it's folks who support Trump are supporting him more than ever now because they believe that he's being wrongfully treated. No different than, let's say, if the justice system was mistreating you and all of a sudden it drew your mother to you closer. She already loved you, but now because she feel like you're being wrongfully treated, she's over your house every day. She's really growing closer to you. But she already was an ally before it happened. I don't believe that anybody that believes in, let me just say it this way. Think about what you stand for politically, whether you believe in the Second Amendment or common sense gun laws, whether you pro-choice or pro-life. Think about whether you want to help the Ukrainians or you believe we should be looking America first and bringing that money home. You're not going to change those principles because the other guy's getting arrested and mistreated by the system. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that however you feel about Trump, his politics is going to play into that. So the notion that you're going to vote for the other side and throw all your principles out the window because he's being mistreated, that just doesn't make any sense. Which is why I asked him the question in reverse. If Biden was being railroaded by the system, would he switch over and vote for Biden? He immediately said no. And he pointed out because he believes Biden has done a hell of a lot of illegal, crooked shit. I'm not going to vote for this guy no matter what is happening to Biden. I'm not going to vote for a corrupt politician. That's what he said. Yet folks believe that when it applies to liberals, they're going to do just the opposite. No, the liberals view Trump as being just as corrupt as the Trump supporters view Biden. Nothing is going to make somebody who supports Trump go over and vote for Biden. So if you support Trump and you believe his court cases are going to make Biden supporters come over and vote for Trump, you got another thing coming. I just want to point that out. I mean, like I stated earlier, you vote based on principles, the direction you want the country to go in. Liberals tend to be in favor of a $15 minimum wage. Liberals tend to believe in climate change. Liberals tend to be pro-choice. Liberals tend to believe in some type of common sense gun laws. Trump is against all of that shit. You're going to throw away everything you believe in because you think the system is mistreating them. Nobody's going to do that. That's not looking at things logically. And I wanted to give it to my last caller, flipped over to show him that under the same situation, he wouldn't do it. And you see, he immediately admitted, oh, I would never vote for Biden. I don't care if he's being railroaded. He doesn't stand for anything I believe in. So I just want to point that out for you folks who are saying that the indictments are making Trump's base grow and grow and grow. I don't see it. I mean, you know how many people get railroaded by the system? You don't change your principles because you believe somebody is being mistreated. That just doesn't happen. You're going to give away, let's take Bezos. You're damn right we're going to take away your AR-15, that type of guy. If you believe in the Second Amendment, you're going to vote for him if you think the justice system is mistreating him? You're not going to vote for that guy no matter what. Nobody gives a damn about what the justice system is doing to him. He doesn't stand for what you stand for. You're not going to vote for him. We'll keep it moving. I don't know if Takesha, if your system is back, let's try it again. I don't get that. I just don't. Takesha, good afternoon. Welcome back.
I had a phone call and it messed up my live.
Okay, sound good. Did you hear my last caller?
Hold on, I want to explain FEMA right quick and the reason Joe Biden gave those people $700. If they go read up on the FEMA only allows that much for emergency money, like to replace medicine or get clothes and stuff like that. Now, Biden has asked Congress for so many millions of dollars for Maui, but Congress is not in session. He can't give that money to them until Congress come back and approve it and give it to them. Biden does not hold the purse strings in Washington, D.C.
I will tell you this. This is where, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but this is where Trump outshines Biden because Trump has constant rallies. He's constantly speaking. If Trump was under this same predicament, he would be on stage at a rally saying exactly what you said. He wouldn't leave it up to the savvy voters to have to actually go out and do their research and figure that out. Trump would be out telling his folks that. That's where Biden is a shortcoming because he doesn't hold that kind of schedule. But go ahead.
But see, Handsome, that's the problem. Voters are too stupid. They need to be informed. That's why they vote how they vote.
Yeah.
How you gonna vote if you don't even know why you're voting or how you're voting or what you're voting for? You just voting because you like somebody. That's the most ignorant thing to do when you're a voter. Inform yourself so you won't look stupid to people that know what's going on. I get so sick of hearing about that $700 when I really know why the $700 was given. It makes you look stupid to me.
But let me, but I don't disagree with anything you're saying. But as a politician, particularly at the presidential level, you know all your supporters are not smart. That's why Trump stated, "I love the uneducated." He goes out there and makes sure you know what you need to know, whether you're doing your homework or not. Biden should be having a schedule where he is going out and telling this stuff. Calling voters stupid is not going to help you on election day. You need to go out and tell these folks this.
He should have came out and said, listen,
Yeah.
this is what the $700 is about. That's the only problem I have with Biden. Stop letting these folks make you look bad
Yep.
when you know they're ignorant and need to be informed on what's really going on.
I agree.
Because they out here making you look like you don't care when you know why you can't give no money.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Just come out and tell them. Stop feeling like you don't have to explain, because in these days and times when you got people where common sense ain't common no more, you need to let them know what's going on.
Well, also too, keep in mind.
About that lady.
Yeah, keep in mind, Hawaii is a blue state, so it's not like Biden is going to let down a blue state. If he could give them more, it's safe to assume he could. But he should make it known so that when Republicans and his detractors are saying that, yeah, he should do a better job getting that message out.
But liberal, when has Biden not helped the state, no matter the color?
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody that needed help, he helped them. He didn't try to hold the money and say, well, you ain't vote for me. You know, just ignorant stuff. You're the president of the United States. You're not the president of the Democratic Party. So he helps everybody. But I'm just sick of people just, you know, they going to believe what they want to believe. Let me say that. It doesn't matter if you show them proof. It doesn't matter if you tell them to research or go read. They're not going to do it. They're going to believe what they want to believe because it makes them feel good.
Yeah, but you have actual people in Maui that are on TV saying this shit. He should be making it clear that this is all I can give you, and you need to petition the Congress. That's what he needs to be doing.
I talked to a guy from Maui on the live the other day, and he says he wishes that the people down there would stop lying on Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And he sat up and told us all of the things that are going on down there. And he said these words. He said the road that leads to where the destruction was is a one-way road. And if Joe Biden had came down there sooner than he did, it would have took away from the efforts of rescue because of all the resources Biden would have had to use to come down there.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I'm with you on the FEMA allocations and the fact that they need Congress. I just my only issue is that Biden should be out there telling that, and not folks like you having to say it for him.
He should be out there telling them, and I don't know why he doesn't do that. But let me say this about that lady from Africa. Shaka Suda, whoever she is, she needs to go get a tambourine and just beat around the fire and worry about Africa. Because at the end of the day, when you asked her about the insurance and when you said about the whole countries, she avoided that more than a man avoiding the woman who got a crush on him who he don't like. It was ridiculous the way she ran around that like a track star. I started to just go over there to Africa and build a track so she could run, because she ran all around the bush.
All right, Takesha, and she definitely dodged it. She I asked her, listen, if you're...
She was playing dodgeball with you.
Yeah.
She dodged it real good. She dodged it like the people be dodging the Jehovah's Witnesses in my city.
Oh my God! All I can do is ask folks what they think on something. I can't make them speak, and she didn't. Yeah, she didn't want to answer that.
She didn't want to, but we love Trump, and we want you to give him another chance. And then listen, they're black for Trump. Speak for yourself. Just say I'm a black. I'm a black for Trump. Just speak for yourself. Because he was a great spot. And COVID, they set him up with COVID, and that's what messed him up. But if he hadn't had COVID, he would have been in the second term because he put America first.
Okay, I can't let you. Come on, I don't want you to beat my guests up like you're making it sound like Madam Cleo. But I gotta move it on.
I'm sick of it.
All right, Takesha, appreciate you coming back through. All right.
Goodbye.
You too. Oh my God. Shout out to the late Madam Cleo, by the way, who was she, Haitian or something like that? I always gonna worship and obey and be submissive to the great supreme leader Trump. Wow, that's a mouthful. If you don't vote for Biden, you're not black. Go after Biden like a puppy, black people. Marie, I've said this before. I'll say it again. I'll go to the box in a second here, but vote for me or you ain't black, even though that is, in my humble opinion, very insulting to African-American voters. I don't think it's enough to make African-Americans switch from Biden to Trump based on the notion that, well, Biden is the most racist. No, shit. Excuse me for that. But I just think if you were putting Biden up against Tim Scott or Nikki Haley or, hell, even Vivek Ramaswamy, maybe. But Biden, compared to Trump, there are just too many counterpoints to present on Trump. Now, if you support Trump, then you're just going to dismiss all of the things that he said and done that are racially charged as well. But there's too many counterpoints on Trump. So you can point out the racial jungle or, the crime bill and things like that. But there's a host of things that Trump has said and did that the African-American community view as racist. If you support Trump, you dismiss all of that shit. Maybe the African-American community is just misreading them, or the African-American community doesn't know what a true racist is. They should be focused on Biden. But the African-American community itself looks at Trump as being more intolerant than Biden. Use a guy. Thank you. Appreciate that. And I'm saying that for one simple point. The jury is over on that. The jury is out on that. I don't think there's any way possible to convince the African-American community at this point that Trump is the loving guy, the guy that loves blacks, and Biden is the racist guy. I just don't see that happening. And I'm saying that even if, let's suggest that you're correct, that Biden is racist and Trump loves black people. The overwhelming mindset in the black community is that Trump is the bad guy in terms of racial issues and things like that. I just don't see you being able to bring that back in. And I also say it from the point of, when it comes to vote for me, you ain't black, and other things that Biden has said and done, I said this earlier in the program, Biden has admitted he has some racial shit in his past and has apologized a bunch of times. Obviously, if you support Trump, you're not going to forgive his apology. I get it. If you don't believe Biden, you're going to believe his apology is insincere. I get that as well. However, what's coming from the Trump camp? Fuck your feelings. And even an insincere apology will beat fuck your feelings 100% of the time. Trump isn't apologizing. He's saying, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I didn't say anything. So, if you're looking at two people and you think both of them are saying something that's racist, and one guy's like, man, look, I'm sorry I fucked up, and the other guy's, get the fuck out of here, you don't know what you're talking about, the guy saying this harsh stuff is never going to win. And that's what I'm suggesting, is that when it comes to racial issues between these two, I don't think there's any way you're going to convince the African-American community at this point that Trump is the tolerant one and Biden is the racist. I just don't see it. And then, of course, we can talk about all of the Confederate flags and all this other shit, and Black Lives Matter is a terrorist group and all this other stuff, in Colin Kaepernick and LeBron James, all of these folks being insulted. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see how you could undo it. Even if you were 100% correct, I don't see how you could undo this. Not to mention the fact that every single civil rights leader that is currently alive today is on the Biden side. Every one of them. Not one single minority civil rights leader is saying that Trump is the guy that will do what's best for minorities. Not one. So apparently not only are black people getting Trump wrong, so are their civil rights leaders. All of them are getting it wrong. I don't know how you correct that. I just don't know how you correct that. Looking in the comments. We'll keep it moving. Snugs. Welcome to the program. Then you have David Duke. Yeah, David Duke's another one. I don't, like I said, I don't know how you correct that. Snuggles. Maybe you can tell me what I'm getting wrong.
Yeah, well, Trump already denounced all that civil stuff. You guys never.
Why did he have to denounce it, though? Why did he denounce it?
Because it's the narrative of the Democrats. The Democrats started this. Okay, they started all this race crap. They're the race baiters. Did you see at the Republican there's not one Republican at that debate that mentioned brown people, black people. That's how Democrats talk. Brown people, black people, and women's rights. Women, did you hear any Republicans across the board say any of that stuff? It's the Democratic narrative.
I didn't hear
That's how it's been. That's how it's always been.
I'll tell you this, you are 100% correct. None of them on the Republican debate talked about black people or women. However, the problem is both black people and women want a candidate that talks about them.
Oh, okay. Well, I think the women they can handle themselves. They know what they're doing.
That ain't what they want to hear. That ain't what they want to hear.
Hey, everyone's free to live and free to do whatever they want. They don't need no politician telling them what to do. It's just that's the narrative. People want to. We're going to do this for you for the vote. And on Donald Trump, he has presidential immunity. By the way, a federal constitutional lawyer said that all these cases in all the states will be dismissed because he was president at the time of all this stuff that's going on. Whether it's immunity, whether it's criminal or civil, he'll be
Let's say
good luck on that in a couple of weeks.
let's say what you're saying is true. He has this immunity and all this happened while he was president. Paying off Stormy Daniels, he wasn't president when Stormy Daniels got that paycheck.
Stormy Daniels, he got a paycheck, right? He got a paycheck written by Cohen.
Stormy Daniels was Michael Cohen is going to testify that money came from Trump.
Right. How do we know?
What do you mean? How do we know?
How do we know that money went to Stormy? It's a check for $35,000.
Okay.
How are you gonna prove? You could say, well, he did it for Stormy Daniels. You can't prove that beyond a reasonable doubt that $35,000 check was for Stormy Daniels.
Well, that's you don't know that. That you might be right,
Oh,
Nick.
absolutely.
No, you don't.
Absolutely.
You don't.
Come on, man.
You don't have the paper trail of where that money came from. You don't know that.
Right. There's a New York Times. There's a New York Times article that Cohen said that Donald Trump did not use campaign funds. He did not pay Stormy Daniels. It was in a 2018 New York Times article. So, and then there's a check that proves that he did not pay Stormy.
You believe the New York. So you suddenly believe
He
it.
didn't write a check for his legal fees.
You suddenly believe the New York Times now. You believe the mainstream media all of a sudden.
I'm just saying that's what they'll use in court. They always bring articles in court. They'll bring all that stuff up. He's not going to win. Cohen is a con.
So they're gonna go with a New York Times article, but they're going to dismiss all the testimony from people around him.
A liar because he told the New York Times they're going to prove him a liar on the stand beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm not going to believe if I were a juror. I'm not going to believe that 1 minute Trump didn't write a check, and then another minute, oh yeah, let's try to get him in trouble at a state level. It's not going to work. They already tried it at the federal, it didn't work, and now they want to try it at a state level. They want to put him away. This is a clearly election interference.
Okay. So in other words, you believe that he is 100% innocent of everything he's been charged with in all these jurisdictions?
As the president of the United States for presidential immunity factors, yes, he's absolutely innocent.
Well, let's
We're going to find out.
Let's take into consideration what you're saying. Now, I disagree with the immunity thing, but let's say it's correct. Do you think he actually is innocent, or do you think he committed something but he's immune for it?
He's as innocent as Biden because he has vice presidential immunity. If you're going to look at that, definitely. Anybody that works for the federal offices are going to be immune. These cases are going to go away. This was just a storyline, and I'm telling you, I'm so sorry to all the Democrats in this live. It's going to happen.
You do realize there's a hell of a lot of Republicans going after Trump. It's not just all Democrats, right?
That's in the narrative. Everybody who is with Trump has been with Trump and will always be for Trump. Don't worry about that. That's all narratives. That's all stories.
What happened with Mike? What happened with Mike Pence? Did he decide not to be with Trump?
Mike Pence. You know what? Mike Pence is a traitor, and that'll be brought up too.
Traitor to who?
He should. Hey, listen, you guys.
Yeah.
The Constitution.
Thank you. So
That's a nice hat. I gave you two of them. He broke
I saw that. Thank you.
100 senators that were asking him, do not put this through, and he put it through. You're supposed to debate and listen to the senators, both Democrat and Republican senators that were complaining about it. He could have held out and said, listen, we'll hold for you, but they broke the Constitution. on January 6th.
So let me ask you this. I'm sure you saw the Republican debate where the moderator, Brett Baer asked all of those folks on the stage there,
Right.
how many of you think that what Mike Pence did on January 6th was the right thing? Everyone except Vivek Ramaswamy said that Mike Pence made the right decision on January 6th.
Right. Vivek will explain his story. He already explained his story already. He's already after that. He's saying exactly what I'm saying. That he should have held that election so that so the Constitution says they're able to listen to the senators that wanted to hold the elections because they want to look into the states.
So you stated that Mike Pence is a traitor. Is it for that one action? Do we dismiss everything he did for the Trump campaign for 4 years? That one action alone?
What did Pence do for us? He was silent. I haven't seen this. This guy spoke more than he did in 4 years. Trump has been leading this thing, and Pence just smiles and nods. You know, he didn't do nothing.
Isn't that what he was hired to do?
Obama was a talker, right? He did everything. You didn't see Vice President doing anything. Vice President Biden, you haven't seen him in all 4 years. Nobody sees the Vice President. Have you seen Vice President Kamala? Nobody sees the Vice President. The only thing the Vice President Biden was doing is playing in Ukraine and still sending money to Ukraine as the current president.
Isn't that what the Vice President?
Talks about it.
Isn't that what the Vice President is hired to do? To smile and nod?
Absolutely.
Right.
Can I ask you a question? Why is Biden sending more money to Ukraine and not helping out Hawaii and Ohio? Isn't that horrible as a president?
No, you got it wrong. Like my last guest, Takesha pointed out, Biden is doing by the standards of FEMA as much as he can for those citizens in Maui. That's the first thing.
Oh, as much as he can, but he could send billions to Ukraine. Is there a reason why?
Yes, there is a reason why. The reason why is because Congress is in favor of helping out the Ukraine. Once again, hang on. Once again, on that stage, they were asked, how many of you would support, if you were to become president, continuing to send money to Ukraine? With the exception of Vivek Ramaswamy, even Governor DeSantis, who tried to tap dance around it, even he admitted he would continue helping out the Ukraine.
So as a human being, you living in your town, as a human being, do you think that's sensible? Or do you just bypass this Congress and say, hey, I got to give to this island. These people are still begging for money. They don't have money there. You could watch TikTok all day long. They don't have money. Are we going to use common sense here? Or are we honestly going to say, well, Congress can only give them $700. And then you see America getting pissed because $112 billion is going to Ukraine. It's not, doesn't make sense. We are number one. Ukraine is number two. We're not at war there. That's their war.
Here's the point I would make, and I've said this to many other folks. What you're suggesting about taking care of America first versus the Ukraine is a very common point.
It's not a suggestion. It's what we are.
Okay, well, whatever you want to call it, this is the way the liberal side of me looks at it. When Russia went to war with the Ukraine in February of 2022, a little bit over a year and a half now. It's been a year and a half now. If as an American I was getting free health care or I was getting tuition assistance or some other program, and the government wrote me a letter and said, we need to help the Ukraine, we can no longer send that money to you, I would be on your side, Snuggles. But the problem is, since we started helping out the Ukraine, most Americans have not seen any difference in how they live, and they don't believe if we stopped helping the Ukraine, they would see any difference either. So when you say bring that money home, we don't believe we're going to see any of it.
Absolutely. That's why we should help our citizens of the United States. If your town got burned down and they kept giving to Ukraine, I would say to Ukraine, where's the other European nations? You guys got to hold this up a little bit. There's something that happened in the United States. We're going to take care of us first. There's plenty of money coming out of NATO from every European nation. We're paying more than the European nation. We put in $200 billion, and they've only put in like $20 billion per European nation. That's not right. Why are we putting in more? They're gougers.
I'll answer that question. I'll answer that question. Why are we putting in more? Because America benefits more than anyone else by a weakened Russia. That helps us maintain our superpower status. Yeah! Thank you.
Biden's economy? Are you kidding me? With Biden's economy, you think America's doing better?
a weakened Russia is going. Hang on, wait a minute. If we weaken Russia, that's going to outlast Biden's life on Earth. The Biden economy will come and go. That type of shit will come and go. A weakened Russia is something that America will benefit from for generations.
Well, can I ask you a question? Why did Russia invade Ukraine during Bush, Obama, and Biden, and not Trump's term? Can I ask you why? Can you tell me why? Why Trump's a strong leader?
You know,
Why Trump didn't have us. We didn't pay no money. We wouldn't lose all that money. Why?
that's a good question. I don't know if Putin feared Trump like some of you folks say, but I will tell you this. But if Putin saw Biden as a weaker leader, is that what you're saying? That Putin saw Biden as a weaker leader than Trump and then decided to do it?
Absolutely. I think all the leaders on Biden, I think we lost on Biden totally as leader. Even Obama did better than than Biden. Biden is lost. This is a lost cause for all Americans, both Democrats and Republicans. We are lost. But for the hate of Trump, Democrats don't want to think straight because they don't want to care about what's going on now because they hate Trump so much that they don't care what Biden does, and it's very scary with these high prices.
Let's stick with the. Okay, let's stick with the notion that Putin decided to invade because Biden is a weaker leader than Trump. Let me ask you, Putin went into the Ukraine about 18 months ago, about a year and a half now, February of 2022, thinking that Biden was a weaker leader than Trump. Do you think that Vladimir Putin, when he invaded the Ukraine in 2022 of February, thought he would still be in war? 2023 in August? Do you think he still thought he would be in war right now? I mean, you got a weaker leader. Trump is gone. You got a weaker American leader. Let's invade. Do you think he was expecting to be at war for 2 years almost?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because a part of me, and I'm so sorry, a part of me still thinks that Biden has something with Ukraine. He's been doing it with his son. He's taken money from Russian oligarchs. It's already been said. I think it's being ignored because you hate Trump so much. There's something with Biden's and Ukraine and Russia and everything. You think
that Vladimir Putin anticipated being at war with a small country like the Ukraine for 2 years? You think he really thought it was going to take that long with a weak leader like Biden?
Absolutely.
Why?
In Afghanistan, he was a weak leader, and everyone decided to do whatever they want to do. Look at our banks. Look at the banking systems. Look at everything everyone's joining together against our dollar. But nobody cares because they hate Trump. They hate Trump, and for the security of this nation, we're in deep trouble because you hate Trump.
So, but you're going back to we're talking about the Russian invasion.
You know.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So now that Russia, seeing that Biden was a weak leader and has invaded them, so far, August 2023, a year and a half later, what has Russia gained from its invasion so far?
A few of the countries there, a few of the things in Ukraine. They're still fighting them, right? They're still going there.
Yeah. But you see them as making gains?
I think what they're doing is money laundering. You guys, it's already been said that money laundering is going there for us sending money there. Our money's being laundered. Look at all the shell companies Biden has. Okay. Nobody's looked into those shell companies that Biden has. Trump has 400 legitimate entity companies. Name Biden's shell companies. What does he sell? What does he do there with the shell companies? Why does he have shell companies in Ukraine? Why does he have shell companies in Russia? Nobody asks those questions because they hate Trump. But we have a current president of the United States sending money there over Hawaii.
So you think that?
Ohio.
So you believe that Biden is actively doing business with shell companies in Ukraine?
Absolutely, 100%. You guys would think of it if this was Trump in office, you'd think the same way.
How can he?
Trump doing this shit.
So you don't believe Biden has dementia? You don't believe he doesn't know where he's at? You don't believe that stuff? Then he's a savvy banker, in your opinion.
He's got a savvy son. He's got savvy people around him. Yeah, anybody can Anybody can.
So is
see
he?
his name in a bank account, don't you?
So is he smart and knows what he's doing, or does he have dementia?
Hey, listen, and I don't do the same thing my father did, but when he was in critical shape and he died, you know, you could do anything with your father's account. You could do anything with your father's name. And you could pay for the credit cards. You could pay for different things. You can get into his accounts. Anybody could do anything.
Okay.
When you have a son and a father.
So you don't believe? So you believe Biden is doing a hell of a lot of dirty business, but he ain't controlling any of it. Somebody else, some type of executor or something, is doing it.
Absolutely. I mean, have you seen the pictures of him standing next to his son and these people from Pakistan and Russia? Have you seen those pictures? Nobody wants to look at those pictures. Nobody wants to look at his bank transfers because they hate Trump.
Okay.
This current president is a fraud.
No.
Nobody knows it. Well, Jim, you're overreacting. You know, you're overreacting, Snuggles. No, I'm not. You're getting suspended, Snuggles. Yeah, I am. Because I'm fighting for this current president. Trump's not president. You guys are not even looking at what he's doing to this country currently. We're not safe. Here in America, we're not safe. There's no security for this nation.
Who do you?
7 million people came through the border. 7 million. And because Trump, you know, because Trump and the border wall. Because they didn't build the border wall because they hate Trump.
Thank
But
you.
the security of this, but really quick, Handsome, the security of this nation has been really horrible because 7 million. If you want 7 million to come here, they can come through the port of entry. Why do they not come through the port
Well,
of entry?
before I let you go.
Coming through the port of entry.
Yeah, before I let you go, in regards to the border and you not being safe in this country, if you are the victim of a crime in this country, do you really think the chances are highly likely of it being an illegal alien? Do you think that's our biggest threat as citizens in this country, is having a crime from an illegal alien?
I do, because when I go to a country, I don't go through a hole. I go through the port of entry. Why do these people have to not go through the port of entry? That's suspect already. We don't know these people.
All right. We disagree. As always, I gotta move it on, but as always, we disagree.
All right, Handsome, let me say one more thing, please.
Sure, go ahead.
Handsome, any felon that has a felony in the United States flies to a different country. The Homeland Security will report that felony to that country.
Yeah.
And if it's not good for that country, you will be thrown back.
True.
Yet we got 7 million people not using the port of entry. And that is not fair for us, for our security of our nation, if we don't know who's coming in, people going through the holes.
All right. I don't disagree with
Everybody
that.
coming here are clean?
No, I don't disagree with that. I gotta move it on though, man.
Right.
Appreciate it. All right, now I agree with him that if folks are coming in and they haven't had the proper vetting, they could be a danger to this country. I agree with that part. The part I disagree with is that it is illegal immigrants in this country that is making us unsafe. All of the mass casualty adventures, those aren't illegal immigrants. I mean, I do admit that there are perpetrators of crime in this country by people who are here from an undocumented standpoint. However, most of the undocumented residents in this country are trying to live under the radar. They're not trying to go out and commit violent felonies and have the whole damn police department looking for them. The crime in the undocumented community is actually lower than it is among us American citizens, because they're trying to stay hiding. This is the same argument I point out when folks suggest that undocumented or illegal aliens, whatever you want to call them, are voting. You're not going to sneak into a country to try to better yourself or better your family and show up and try to illegally vote. You're going to throw away your entire life and risk being deported so you can cast one ballot? Really? I really believe that we're giving, in an effort to hold illegals coming in this country, we're demonizing them to a level that's unrealistic, because most of these folks try to live under the radar. They're not trying to go out and commit violent felonies to have the police department looking for them, knowing that they could be deported. And by the way, once you get a violent felony, now you can never come legally again. So even if you were here illegally, if I get caught, I'm gonna have to go home and stay for a few years and then try to actually make it happen. Once you get caught up in a violent felony, you can never come legally. So yeah, I just disagree with that part. I think it's over demonizing them to try to make a point. as an American citizen, I agree that this is an unsafe country. No denying that. But I don't think my biggest threat, if something happens to me in America, whether it's being robbed or murdered or whatever the hell, is going to come by way of an undocumented resident. I don't think that that's your biggest threat as an American citizen. Now, maybe if you lived in Laredo or some border town where there's a much greater number of folks down there at that, but even in New York, where they're shipping a bunch of undocumented residents to New York, that's not who's committing the crime in New York. Chicago's a sanctuary city. That's not who's committing all the crime in Chicago. It's people that look like me, that were born in the damn country. Or white folks that were born in the country. It's not, I just really believe we're over demonizing them to make a point. Looking in the comments, 99% of Democrats are our biggest threat. Wow. Then how do you explain crime happening in cities where everything from the legislator on down to the average citizen is completely Republican? There are a lot of areas where there's no Democrat around. Should be a completely crime-free city. That's not the case. It's not the case. There is a different type of crime maybe, but you're not going to be crime-free anywhere in America. Now the problem, and I'll go back to the boxes, a hell of a lot of you guys holding it. Tap the screen, by the way, over 1,000 of you folks in here. Get your boy up to 80,000 likes, if you will. Let your thumbs not be lazy. Program is forever will remain MAGA friendly. I don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. Understand that. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome on the program as well, but MAGA are my preferred guests. Looking in the comments, and I said this before too, one of the issues between Democratic cities and the high crime rates compared to, as folks say, well, you're not seeing that in Republican areas. Republicans don't run big cities. Out of the top 10 cities in America, none of them, not a single one, has a Republican mayor. Out of the top 50 cities in this country, only 9 have a Republican mayor. So the notion that was only happening in Democratic cities, yeah, that's because that's where all the people are. For some reason, diverse crowds do not like Republican leaders, period. That's a Republican problem. Why is it for some reason anytime a diverse group of people get together, they avoid the Republican Party like the plague? So you're always going to have more crime in Democratic cities than Republican cities because all of the big ass cities are Democrat. Chicago, Houston, LA, New York, they just don't seem to like the Republican Party. If the Republican Party has all the answers, are we to suggest that the overwhelming majority of Americans are too dumb to see it? I don't know. I'll leave that to you guys, though. And red states have more crime, though, says Jensen. We can debate that, but certainly there's not a lot of the Republican-controlled areas are considerably smaller. You don't have towns with 1 million people in it that have a Republican governor. Or a Republican mayor, rather. You don't have towns like that. And by the way, I would also point out that if the town has a Democratic mayor, but it's in a Republican state, how does the governor not get credit for that? St. Louis is a violent city. So is Memphis. So is New Orleans. How does the governor of those states not get credit for it? You can talk about liberal cities. Well, this is in your state. You ran on a campaign of reducing crime. All governors do that. So if you're a governor with a violent city in your state, you don't get to excuse yourself because you happen to be Republican. We're blaming the Democratic governors all day long. So the Republican governors should get credit as well. All right, going back to the box. We'll keep it moving. Andy, welcome to the program. Appreciate you folks holding. Appreciate some of you folks tapping the screen, trying to get your boy up to 80,000. That would be appreciated. Appreciate that. Lemonade, Crystal. Thank you. Andy, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hey. Yeah, you see the question on the monitor behind me. Switching to Trump. Does Biden's health, let's say he has dementia, doesn't know where the hell he's at, can't string together a sentence, can't read without the teleprompter. Would that make you potentially switch to Trump if he's more alert and within his faculties?
wait, the man that literally endorsed two guys named Eric and didn't ever give the last name. No, absolutely not. Please. Look, the man stood on a rally and said that he was in the White House talking to Mark Zuckerberg last summer. And I was thinking, how many years ago was that?
So you're saying that Trump
And
is.
he was going last week, so.
So you're saying that Trump has no business to talk about somebody else in mental decline as well.
Nope.
So
Let me give you a rundown real quick.
sure, go ahead.
Violent crime rates. Alaska's the worst. New Mexico, Tennessee, Arkansas, Arizona, Louisiana, Missouri, South Carolina, South Dakota, and Michigan.
Yeah, but you got to look at
Like
how.
a bunch of red states to me.
Yeah, but look at how you're wording it. You notice the Republicans talk about cities. You're talking about states. So you guys, I guess, are to some degree having a different conversation.
Well, the governor runs the state, and her laws determine how they can
Yeah.
factor in what's what. So, and you have had more disinformation today than I have ever heard in one damn breath, just off of one guess.
Give me, well, which guess? Which guess?
Played that Jean Carroll tape for me and tried to lower the part where she said some people might think and tried to make me. And he goes, see what she said? And I was like, I heard it. And I was like, no.
Yeah. Well, what about what my last guest suggested, that Trump has presidential immunity and that he can't be held accountable for any of the stuff they're charging him for while he was
He's
president?
not president. And he can't give himself a pardon.
No, he's saying that
He's
any alleged crime that Trump committed while being president, he has immunity from that. So he can't be charged for something he did while he was
Well,
president.
Mitch McConnell didn't say that, did he?
No, he didn't.
Mitch McConnell said you can try him as soon as he's out. So
Yeah.
who are you gonna believe, Snuggles or Mitch McConnell? Let's just be honest here.
Yeah,
If
in a little
Snuggles
bit.
says he's gonna win, he's gonna lose bigger than anything. So I'm feeling better this today.
Yeah, 3 o'clock. Yeah, well, I mean, I get what you're saying, but they don't have any love for Mitch McConnell at all.
Well, see, that's just it. It's because they're not Republicans.
Well,
MAGA is not Republicans. They do not stand for small government, and they do not stand for fiscal responsibility. Otherwise, Trump wouldn't be responsible for 22% of the national deficit.
Nikki Haley during the debate pointed that out when they were one of the other candidates was accusing the Democrats of running up the deficit, and she pointed out that under Trump he ran it up significantly. And I think she said something like, "Well, so when you look at this, who is really running up the debt?" Nikki Haley threw Trump under the bus on that.
And they talk about the FBI, which Trump appointed the head of, and everybody they don't like, he put into office. So if they don't like any of the people that he picked for office, then why do they want him back? And who would be in his cabinet anyway? I mean, Roger Stone and Steve Bannon and Flynn and who?
Well, something that Chris Christie pointed out is that Trump has threw a lot of people under the bus that he hired, and it's like if you have a successful career in the private sector, or if you are a successful politician, do you want to risk it all and work for Trump? Because if something goes wrong, your whole career is going to be over with.
His daughter won't even back him.
Well, whatever.
She testified at the January 6th hearings. I mean, when your own child says he threw gasoline on the fire.
But he's promised to surround himself by the best and brightest. Are you saying that didn't happen?
Well, okay, he picked Jeff Sessions from my state, who met with Kislyak twice, which is why he recused himself. They keep talking about how rich Trump is. Trump once said, while married to Marla Maples, and she candid this on several TV shows, that she saw a homeless man one time, and Trump says, he's better off than I am because he's not $900 million in debt. That's what he owed Deutsche Bank at that point. When he went into office, he owed Deutsche Bank $400 million. He's been bankrupt 6 times. How do you bankrupt 3 casinos?
Listen, the guy, but I mean,
The only thing he's good at is licensing his name, and the current trend in every city around the world is taking his name off a building.
so, but how do you respond to just about all of the media outlets are suggesting that the indictments are making Trump's popularity grow, that he's actually doing better because of the indictments? Do you see?
Yeah, I saw some other polls, and that's part of the Republican Party. They didn't tell you they didn't poll anybody else, because more than half the independents think that Trump needs to be tried.
Yeah.
More than 61% of the country think that Trump needs to be tried and either found guilty or innocent before the vote.
And
That's 61% of the country.
Yeah, but we know it's highly unlikely that Trump, all of these cases against Trump are going to be, concluded before the election next year. I mean, they're going to. We know that Trump
cannot win without the independents.
Yeah,
And the first thing he complained about, and this is why one of the reasons that's a different subject. One of the first things he complained about was he lost suburban housewives, and he didn't know how to get them back.
But what about, like, for instance, I guess somebody pointed out, like, ask you, oh, how many wars did we get in? Do you give him credit for the fact that we didn't get in any wars during this time?
Wait, how many soldiers did we lose?
During the Trump administration?
Mm-hmm.
Where were we losing soldiers at?
33 the first year?
Well, how many did we lose under Biden during that botched evacuation? They're going to bring that
13?
up. Yeah.
13 compared to 33. And at least when it came down to Biden, Biden said, I'm responsible. When Trump stood up there, he blamed the generals and did not even take responsibility for his own mess.
Yeah, I've said that in regards to the fuck your feelings versus an apology. Yeah, if you don't, and that is an issue I've said with Trump, is that the phrase "the buck stops here" will never come out of his mouth. If something goes great, Trump's going to take credit for it. If it goes bad, it's going to be somebody else's fault. And I've said before, even with President Biden, if you do something wrong and you happen to be president, you don't get to blame people you appointed or lower level politicians. As president, you get credit for the good and you take credit for the bad. And Trump is really well versed at blaming other people for things that go wrong while he's in office.
There's nobody that was in his administration that they will back. Think about it.
Yeah.
Start asking him which one of his administration picks was a good pick. See what you find out.
That's an interesting question. I'm trying to think of somebody that they may say. I can't come up with any answers either.
And let me put this out here. If Congress can go back 203 years to ratify an amendment to give their butts a raise, I think that they could vote to remove the time limit off the equal rights for women because it's unconstitutional and shouldn't have been there anyway. But Republicans are afraid to let women have rights.
What makes you say
And
that?
that's the reality.
What makes you say that?
Because go look at Senator Kennedy from Louisiana's page. He is all in it's easy. And he's got a bill going up to try to take down the Equal Rights Amendment altogether. He's so scared. Because he's afraid it would give women the bodily autonomy they don't want us to have. They couldn't separate the bathrooms anymore. Oh, yeah.
All right.
So he's all in an uproar.
Well, so
he's losing his mind.
So can we? So in other words, we can.
I'm wrong all you want to. I don't care.
So in other words, we can
It
count.
doesn't matter.
So in other words, we can count on women to go left come election time.
Oh yeah. Did you see the midterms when everybody said this big red wave was coming? And historically, when has a party ever lost the midterms?
Yeah, it didn't go well. It didn't go well. All right, Andy, I don't disagree with that. Appreciate you coming in here.
Not only did they not have a big blue wave, they had to gerrymander Alabama and Louisiana to get the seats they do have. Now Alabama's in defiance of the Supreme Court because they don't think the 1 in 4 black people, for every 4 people in America, in Alabama, there's a black person. They don't think they should have any rights to vote. They don't think women should have any rights.
So, you know, Republicans are shaking in their boots.
I don't know about it.
can't wait.
I don't know about all that, but come on back anytime. And yeah, what she mentioned about what's happening in Alabama, that did look bad. That even a Republican Supreme Court ruled against what they're doing in Alabama, suggesting that they were indeed trying to reduce the power of the black vote. And that's from a Republican Supreme Court with a 6-3 majority. Even they actually held Alabama accountable for that. Oddly enough, Clarence Thomas was on the other side of that. Looking in the comments of appeals to Ninth Circuit, Democrats also suggested, I don't know who that person is. Okay, I don't know where you're going with that. Biden is legit racist. No, we aren't, says Ed Belcher. I told you before, even if Biden has a hell of a lot of suspiciously racist shit in his past, there's no way to convince minorities, in my opinion, in 2023 that they should get rid of racist Biden and vote for Trump. I've said it before that Biden is not a very popular candidate, but when you put him up against Trump, you're making it a lesser of two evils. I think that if you put Biden up against Chris Christie or Nikki Haley or Tim Scott or somebody, it would be more competitive. But you're picking the most toxic candidate to run against Biden. Literally the most toxic candidate you have. Very similar to the Democrats sending Hillary Clinton up in 2016. Trump is, didn't Nikki Haley say that during the debate? That Trump is the most unpopular candidate or something like that? Nikki Haley said that. So, yeah, and she used to work for the guy. Once again, another Trump appointee. And I see in the comments Michael saying that Nikki is a tool, which leads to that obvious question. Why are there so many people that Trump personally appointed to his administration being viewed negatively by Republicans? Nikki is a tool. And Attorney General Barr is a traitor. Mike Pence has committed treason. All people that would not have had their jobs if it wasn't for Trump. The best and brightest, my ass. Looking in the comments, why can't they run someone in the Dems? There has to be somebody better. Alan Coleman, I'm with you on that 100%. The Democrats are with you on that 100%. Maybe if the folks on the right ran somebody else, we might be to talk Biden into standing down. Sometimes you can't tell somebody it's their time. You know, shout out to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, yet another one that if we could have convinced her, look, you need to step down, could have had a better outcome. But I do agree that, yeah, Biden is not the best we could put forward. But fortunately for Biden, the folks on the right are putting Trump back out there. He's already beat Trump once. So a rematch, I personally, I would rather see somebody other than Biden. But do I think that Biden could beat Trump? Yeah, I do. I really do. Because we don't know what's going to happen in terms of how people are going to view the court cases against Trump. If you support Trump, you think they're all made up, they're all witch hunts, that's fine. But is every voter going to believe that? And also keep in mind, between now and November of 2024, all sorts of shit is going to be presented in court. You're going to hear recordings. You're going to hear witnesses testifying about things. You're going to hear Mike Pence's notes. Now, if you truly support Trump, you've already decided he's innocent, and no testimony that comes out, you're not going to give credence to anything that comes out. But there is a lot of unbiased constituents, voters out there that may be on the fence. Maybe they do believe Trump is being railroaded, but they are willing to listen to what the prosecutors put forward. Everything that comes from the feds, the state of New York, the state of Georgia, perhaps the state of Arizona, that is presented against Trump, all of that stuff is not going to be untrue. And if you're an unbiased voter, you're going to listen to some of that stuff. And it may affect your decision to vote. Also, too, I'm sure you guys have seen some of the ads being ran by members of the Republican Party, suggesting that Trump was an excellent president, but he has too much baggage and it's not a good idea to put him forward. Think they're not going to be convinced? All right, looking in the box. This time, Trump gets the black vote guaranteed. James Bill sound like remember the walkaway movement? The blacks are going to walk away from the Democratic plantation and vote for the Republican Party. That sure didn't happen, but I do remember folks were adamant. Blacks are hashtag walk away. They're going to walk away from the Democratic plantation. They're tired of being sheep. They're going to vote for the Republican Party. Okay. All right. Going back to the box. We'll see what happens. Maybe, maybe not. Keep it going with Joe. Has a picture of Trump's face, so that's going to get your boy looking every time. Joe, tell me something, Joe, if it lets you in. Looking in the comments here. Why? Because they're part of the swamp, including Trump. Get away from left, right. I don't disagree with that. If you're willing to hold both sides accountable, suggesting that there are swamp members on both the right and left, I can buy into that. But if you support Trump, you're believing that all the swamp creatures are on the left and maybe within the ranks of the Republican Party. But MAGA's not the swamp. Why would blacks vote for Trump? What did that say? I didn't see that. I wanted to see that comment. There's a lot of you folks are here. By the way, tap the screen. Maybe you get your boy up to 100,000 likes. We're pretty damn close. Over 1,000 of you in here. I appreciate that. Executive Order 14838 coming soon. Good luck on that one. Let's keep it going. Priscilla Gonzalez. Let's see what happens here. Don't vote for another politician or celebrity. I don't know if that's a good idea. Good afternoon, Priscilla.
Hello. I don't know if you remember me. What's wrong with Biden's health?
You said what's wrong with what?
Biden's health.
Folks are suggesting he has dementia, can't string together a sentence, doesn't know where he's at. Do you buy into any of that?
Has he been diagnosed, or is it just fuckery that people